Tune in a bushel basket would be mine.
I am in awe. Okay, so we have racing coming up here. As soon as everybody's lined up and ready to roll out, we'll watch for the McGee Toyota pace car to roll down out of the pits, and we'll be ready to start our Aztec Insurance six-shooters qualifying races. Our guest starter tonight, doing double duty as starter and general manager, Brian Martin on the flag stand. Pretty good repeat of everybody who was here last night. A few exceptions, one or two blown motors and some folks who have other obligations here on the Monday holiday. But pretty much many of the people who were with us last night in competition are with us today. In case you were not here, because I'm sure there were some of you, this is kind of how things went yesterday. The important race, the Richard Tatro Memorial for the late models. When it came down to it, it was Chris Riendo. Weasel took off the win. David Greenslit moved up at the last minute to take second. And Joe Tatro in an emotional third-place finish. The race went 70 of 73 laps without a caution. One caution with 3 laps to go. The mods went to Brian Roby. Pure Stocks, Colton Martin by a nose. We'll tell you more about that when he brings the Pure Stock out for qualifying today. The six-shooters went to Robert Shaw, and the Outlaws, as you might expect, Ben Poland jumped out in front and said, nobody's going by me in spite of cautions, and that's what he did to take the win there. If you want to go back to Saturday night, the big race there again was for the late models, and this was the Triple Crown for the late models. The unofficial finish was Jeff Rollins, Tim Wenzel, and J.D. Stockwell. That is still in the air. So it's not official, it's unofficial. Nate Wenzel picked up the win in the modifieds. Cameron Sontang got his first win in many years in the mini stocks. Zach Zielinski held off the field and won as a rookie. And in the Young Guns, it was Mason Cousineau, her first win in the car you're going to see later in the Pure Stocks. We'll tell you about that then.
The former Colton Hull car, bought and acquired by the
It's not. Right. Pace car rolls out of the pits, and heat 1 for the six-shooters is ready to go. And leading them out on the point, had a wild night last night in the six-shooters. Out of Grantham, New Hampshire, Steve Miller. And starting outside, handicapped there for the heat is Steve Miller Jr. The gangster I love is going to do some gangstering. Starting in the 12S, it's Chooch Schneid. Next to him, it'll be Roz Mason. In the 44, Tyler Scott is your starter in 5th spot. Andrew Scott starts in car 13 and 6th, and Garrett Berry in the 51 will be your next starter on the line. That's tonight's first 8-lap qualifier. Keep that where you can see it. All right, ready to rock and roll here. One more lap around. Let's see what Brian says. Are we ready to roll? Not quite. Yep. Okay. One more time around. Pace car looks up pit road. Here we go. Working their way over to the 603 Metalworks and Collision start zone. Ready to go. They're in the zone. Here's the green. We're on our way. Miller's jump out in front. Chooch running in the third spot. Up on the outside comes Mason. The Scots banging against, they're all banging in each other. The 51 of Garrett Barry having a little trouble with the 13 of Andrew Scott, but they managed to straighten it out this time. Miller Jr. dives to the inside, gets around. Dad's car is still probably not 100% after 2 nights of getting banged around at Claremont and Monadnock. Down the backstretch they go. Chooch running in third. Here comes the 44 of Tyler Scott. He moves into third. Check that, trying to move into third on the outside. Barry in the 5th spot. Hang on, Roz Mason. Got it straightened out just in time. Meanwhile, father and son racing together. They work together, but they race hard like they don't know each other. And Scott moves into 3rd spot. Snide back to 4th. Barry running 5th, and the other Scott in 6th. And then it's Roz Mason behind them. Coming up to the halfway point here. Miller Jr., Miller Sr., Scott, Snide, and Barry starting to stretch it out here. Track's all different here in the daytime. The sun heats it up. What wasn't slick last night is a little greasy now, but they'll still make it through there. By the time we get to this afternoon feature time, it's going to be even toastier on that track for these guys. Hope all of you, like them, do a little hydrating, because it's not going to be a day to sit around and not have anything to drink. And I don't mean booze, I mean water. Boozing away. Steve Miller Jr., 2 laps left, 2 to go for Miller. Scott and Snide. Barry. We've lost 1 Scott, and here comes Mason. White flag waiting over the line. Here they come. Steve Miller Jr., Steve Miller Sr., then Scott, Snide, Barry, and way back there, working his way up, is Mason. Coming off the corner for the checkers in this first of our 2 qualifiers, Steve Miller Jr., Steve Miller Sr., Tyler Scott, Chooch Snide, Garrett Barry. And as they slow down and head into the pits, coming across the stripe, it's Roz Mason rounding out the field. Most of them know. We don't always have all the knowledge right. All right, up next, one more. Here comes the pace car. Here comes the 37 of Trevor Young out of White River Junction, Vermont. Trevor starts on the pole. In the 8 next to him, Ryan Upham of Bethel, Vermont. This is his 2nd day racing in that car. He's never raced before, so he's having a good time. Matthew Winter driving the 03W right now out of Springfield, filling in for Ms. LeDuc, who's had some physical injury in her arm and can't drive it. Maddie LeDuc, the original driver. In the 28, you'll find Jacob Scott out of Springfield. In the 07, our winner last week, Robert Shaw, last night I should say, from Perkinsville, Vermont. And coming in to join us, Scott Vian from Ashland, New Hampshire in the 5. Haven't seen him around for a while. That makes up the 6 cars for tonight's second this afternoon's. Boy, you get in a habit, you know. You've been doing night races all your life, and all of a sudden you race in the afternoon. Pace car looks to the pit road. Trevor Young brings him into the 603 Metalworks and Collision start zone. It's not a good start, but the guy on the outside needed to stay with him. He's a rookie. He did not know he had to keep pace, and they leave him in the dust right off the bat. Here comes Winter right up inside, runs into the side of Young, pushes him out of the way, and everybody else dives through there. Matt Winter banged his way into the lead. He'll lead lap 1. Then it'll be Shaw and Scott, Young and Vian. Scott trying to get off the corner, almost dirt tracking it off turn 4, shades of the 1970s. So Winter out in front. Robert Shaw moves into second. Jacob Scott running third. Here's Vian trying to move up on the Young vehicle to get into fourth. Scott Vian and Trevor Young side by side in turn 4 right now. Trailing the field is Upham, but not that far back, trying to stay with him. Working up to the halfway point. And here comes Robert Shaw starting to close in on Matt Winter. This one isn't over till we get the last 4 laps in. He's right there, looks inside, dives down to the bottom of 3, gets a little wobbly, gets to that sharp point of 4. Winter trying to cross him over, got slowed up getting down off the track into the dirt. And it's Robert Shaw on top here in lap 5. Robert Shaw, Matt Winter, Jacob Scott, Scott Vian looking for a spot to dive underneath Jacob as they go into the turn, but not enough room and not enough time. Young still out there on the outside, not able to move up a notch. Here they come, 2 to go. Lap 6 goes in the books as Shaw crosses the stripe. Winter second, Scott, Vian, and Young going into the top 5, and then young Ryan Upham from Bethel driving down the backstretch. White flag, one more time to go. Shaw starting to put some distance on Winter. Scott not getting much of a challenge now from Vian. Oh, look out, trouble. Winter got upside, almost up around. Hammer the gas again as they come down for the checkered flag. Here it is. It's in the air, and your winner again, Robert Shaw, takes the qualifier. Matt Winter second. Jacob Scott, then Scott Vian and Trevor Young round out the top 5 with Robert Upham closing out the field. Moving right along. We'll be looking at the La Valley Pure Stocks coming up next. And here's Randy.
Thank you, David. Great job. 6 shooters are there. Now we're going pure stocking, being led out by the McGee of Claremont Toyota Camry pace car. What an awesome looking ride that is. On the inside, on the pole, is Newport, New Hampshire, Sean Lannis in the 8. To his outside, Claremont, New Hampshire is where he calls home. This is his home track. Aiden White driving the 5. On the inside of row number 2 is Andrea St. Amour in the 20. Out to her outside, and row number 2 is the 78 of Chris Conroy. The 43 is Chris Bingham, and taking tail on the field out of Canaan, New Hampshire, is the 10 of Ryan Christensen. Ready to go, 8 laps for their first of 2 heat races this afternoon. I'll get that, Dave, yet, this afternoon. All right, down the backstretch, Lantis is going to lead White into the 603 Metalworks and Collision start zone. Brian Martin's got green in hand. Green's going to fly. Lantis gets the jump, takes St. Amour with it. Andrea St. Amour really coming along in the 20, takes the 2 spot away, looking to challenge for the lead, and she comes off the backstretch, paddles it into turns 3 and 4. Out of turn number 4 and at the stripe, it will be St. Amour on top. White into second. Lantis into third. Chris Conroy in the 78 doing the slide of life coming out of turn number 2. White turning the wick up on the 5 car, setting his sights on the 20 of St. Amour. Bingham does a little grass surfing. Andrea St. Amour pushing the 20 out to the lead. Gonna look to hold off White in the 5. Lantis gonna see the wick turned up on the 78 of Chris Conroy. And here comes the 10 looking pretty racy. The car is for sale, so if you're looking to go pure stock, and this may be an advantage. Andrea St. Amour is still your leader coming to halfway. Aiden White right there on her tail. Challenge from Conroy to Lantis for third. Lantis is going to go high. Conroy's trying to take that to his advantage. Ducks underneath. Not going to make it that time. The door gets closed. Andrea St. Amour. Now Conroy going to challenge to the inside of Landis as they exit turn number 3. Excuse me, turn number 2. Down the backstretch, heading for 3. It's been a long weekend, folks. Bear with us. Andrea St. Amour still able to hold the lead. Hayden White now going to make the challenge, gets there to her bumper. Hayden White all over the back bumper of the 20. White flag's going to fly. Got one more circuit to get it done. Conroy in the 3rd spot. St. Amour down the backstretch. White in tow. Does he make a challenge? Will he run it to the checkers? Trying to get by, not going to happen. St. Amour is your victor. Hayden White, Chris Conroy, Sean Landis, Chris Bingham, and Ryan Christian will round out your first heat race for the LaValle Building Supply Pure Stocks. How we get set, heat race number 2 for the LaValle Building Supply Pure Stocks. Gonna see the 1 New Hampshire. It looks a little different. This is the car that started it all that is Carlos Grenier in the 1 New Hampshire. To his outside is the 74. Randolph, Vermont is where he calls home, runs that car at the Thunder Road Speedway. That is Keegan Taylor. Keegan Tabor in the 74. Reigning champion of this division here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. The 20 goes next. That is Chris Chambers. Now, the story you've been waiting to hear. We saw it last night. This car's been to Victory Lane Saturday at the Monadnock Speedway for Madison Cousineau. Been to Victory Lane here last night in the 4 car. That is Colton Martin. And taking tail in the 43, that is Nicholas Shepard out of Lebanon, New Hampshire. Here we go. We enter the start zone. Dad's got flag in hand. Here we go. Brian Martin says we're underway. Keegan Tabor jets to the front, takes the 74, pedaling off turn number 2, down the backstretch. Challenge for the 2nd spot is going to go to Chambers as they enter 3 and 4. And here comes the 4. Now the red 4 of Colton Martin in the 3rd. Keegan Tabor says he could feel the car was coming to life, and sure is. Taking the top spot. Chambers looking to get it away. Follows in 2nd. Colton Martin in for 3rd. Carlos Grenier. The old car just isn't what the new car is. He's trying to get it felt out. And if you know anything about that young man, he will be up to the front soon enough. Battle ensues between Grenier and the 43 of Nick Shepard. Shepard goes to the inside. He'll take that spot away. But right now, it's been all the 74 of Keegan Tabor. Keegan Tabor holding his line, working through, coming out of turn number 2. Chris Chambers and Colton Martin in tow. Tabor keeps it on the low side. Chambers going to look to set him up. The closer in Colton Martin trying to see which line he's going to work. Right now it's Tabor able to stay out front. Keegan Tabor got 2 more circuits to get it done. Tabors keeps it low, comes middle out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. Chris Chambers, Colton Martin, Nick Shepard. White flag's gonna fly. One more circuit. Chambers gets right to the back bumper of Tabor, but that opens up a door for Martin. Martin looked to the inside, didn't make it happen. It's not going to work that way. Checkered's going to go to Keegan Tabor. Keegan Tabor. What a great run for that young lad. Chris Chambers, Colton Martin, Nick Shepard, and the one New Hampshire of Carlos Grenier round out your field.
Thinks he'll be ready around 3. They started it late because it's hot. Next up will be the LaValle Building Supply. Check that. I'm looking at the wrong list. How about the R.E. Hinckley late models? Works better that way. And they gave us a great show last night in the Richard Tatro Memorial. 70 laps out of 73, green flag before a caution. So leading him out here in the 41, that'll be Travis Sykes out of Heartland, Vermont. On the side in the 48, had some bad luck last night, went home on the trailer before we even started racing, but he's out there today. That's Dan Young out of Claremont in the 48. Starting in the 79, Trevor Rock out of Enfield, New Hampshire. Alongside of him from Heartland, Vermont, that's Chris Lindquist. Chris Lindquist in the 35. Next on the grid will be Justin Beecher. Last night he drove one of the Streeter 55s in the 73 lapper. Tonight he's out there in his own car. This afternoon he's out there in his own car too. Justin Beecher over from Billerica, Massachusetts. In the 73, Joe Tatro from Enfield. Starting next on the grid, that'll be the 16Z for Jimmy Zulo out of Claremont. And in the 85, Brian Roby. Second night in that car. He had a respectable finish, but he said the car just wasn't right, not the way he wanted it. And then the 11 joining them will be Ryan Bell. Ryan Bell starting ahead of Jimmy Zulo. The 8-lap qualifier for the R.E. Hinckley late models. A little shorter feature tonight. They'll only be going 35 laps. They ticked off 70, pretty good shape last night. A division has had a history of a lot of wrecks in the big race over the last several months, but this time they were well behaved and did a good show. Let's see what they can do here in our first 8-lap qualifier. We've got a pair of them coming up. Travis Sykes taking him down off the backstretch as the pace car heads into the pits. They approach the 603 Metalworks start zone. Green is out. Here we go. On the gas quickly. Sykes takes him down into 1. Up on the outside, it's Young. Right on the Sykes bumper, the 79 for Trevor Rock. He's going to look inside going into turn 3. Into the turn, has to back out. Bumper tag coming through the corner. It's still Sykes on top. Rock trying to set up. Can't do it. Doors shut. They all go in too deep. Rock this time gets the angle coming off turn 2. Down into turn 3. Trevor Rock on the inside. Sykes on the outside. Beecher coming up the inside. Beecher will move all the way up unless a battle between the 85 of Ryan Roby and Chris Lindquist in the 35 for third. That one's going to be a battle for a couple of laps. Now hang on. Trevor Rock got a little loose, come off a 4. Beecher sets up and looks inside. Beecher, former national champion, goes to the high side of the 79 this time. Roby looks inside. Beecher comes up high. Stays high in 1. Goes low in 2, sticks his nose down inside. Can't punch it hard enough to get underneath and get into third. Trevor Rock, Justin Beecher, Brian Roby, Chris Lindquist, Jimmy Zulo. Now they set up a 6-car train. Joining them makes it 7 with Joe Tatro. We have 2 to go. 2 laps left. Trevor Rock trying to hang on, slips up in the corner. Beecher can't take advantage. Roby's going to. Here comes Roby down inside turn 3. Brian Roby with a lap to go, challenging for second. Doesn't lift drives it down in underneath the 57 of Beecher. Trevor Rock can run away while they fight for second. While here comes the checker. Who's going to get second? It's Trevor Rock. Beecher holds on. Roby third. Lundquist fifth. Sixth goes to Zulo. Seventh, Tatro. And Bly goes into the sixth spot. Rounding out the field, Sykes and Young. Wow. Going to be a heads-up, hard-fought battle here coming up, I'll tell you right now. Second round rolls out. He won the pole last night, had a tough race during the day and did not finish well. From Berniston, Massachusetts in the 45, that's J.D. Stockwell. Starting outside of J.D. in the 88 from Heartland, Vermont, David Thibodeau. Starting row 2 inside. Had a good run most of the night in last night's race before the car gave up on him and he faded back to mid-pack. This is Andrew Brosso from Claremont, New Hampshire. And our winner last night out of Ascutney, travels all over the place to race, but he chose here for at least 2 days this month, and that's Chris Riendo. Starting in the 5th spot in the 33 Vermont, Matt Sonhalter from White River. 91 is Kevin Hager from Windsor, Vermont. The man who finished second on the field last night in the Tatro Memorial. David Greenslet from Claremont starts in the inside of row 4, 7th spot, and Jim Carley in the 19 rolls in to start 8th in the second late model qualifier. 8 laps. A lot of quality cars. There's going to be a tough battle going on here. The Claremont Speedway McGee Toyota pace car heads up pit road. Everybody turns to wake up. They approach the 603 Metalworks start zone. Here's the green. Here they come. JD gets on it quickly. Wants to make up for last night. JD goes in. Brusso gets underneath Tatro. Here comes Riendo and Sonhalter. Squeezed out is Hager in the middle. Tatro had to give way. Greenslet moves quickly up to 5th from the back of the field. Lap 1, Stockwell, Brusso, Riendo, Sonhalter, and Greenslet. Greenslet's not going to lift at all. He drives it into 4th. Sonhalter stuck on the outside. Brusso putting pressure on JD. JD swings off of 4. He's got it. Holds on to 1st. Brusso gets down. JD couldn't get down soon enough. They rub fenders and look at the 3 wide down the back stretch. Whoa! Riendo tested. Dropped back to 3rd. The battle for 1st. Still JD and Brusso. Stockwell, Brusso. Riendo, Greenslet. Hager and Sonhalter. Now Brusso. Riendo takes advantage as soon as they get Stockwell pushed up the banking. Riendo will trail Brusso. Whoop, he slipped up. Brusso, Stockwell for the lead. Brusso inches ahead down the backstretch. Riendo glued to his bumper. Into turn 3. Riendo and Stockwell not giving up. The youngster fighting the veterans. Rookie on the outside, veterans on the inside. Finally, Brusso clears Stockwell. Riendo battles with him. Greenslet running in 4th. We've got 2 laps to go. 2 to go. Andrew Brusso, Chris Riendo. David Greenslet challenges J.D. Stockwell. Greenstead and Stockwell. Here they come. 1 lap left. Brusso, Riendo, Greenslet. Hager now working on 4th place underneath Stockwell. The battle right there. Riendo and Brusso almost took each other out. They go down into turn 4. Brusso tap, comes by. He's not going to cut it. It'll be Brusso just edging Riendo out. Brusso, Riendo, Greenslet. Hager and Stockwell hangs on for 5th, but boy, they are showing us what we're going to be watching tonight for 35 laps in the main event. Whoa, I got to catch my breath. That was a lot of work. You almost ran the whole darn thing. Well, hey, we're moving on now. Let's turn things over to our guest announcer tonight. Welcome back, George Powers.
Oh, thank you, Dave, and thank you, folks here at the Claremont Motorsports Park, you guys up here, for giving me this chance to redeem myself for my poor outing last time out. And we're going to go with Outlaw Heat number 1 on the point out of Claremont, New Hampshire. That's going to be the 3X for Max Bergstrom. Outside, fellow Claremont native in the number 15, that's Tyler Lescord. We're going to switch over to the Vermont side of things. The number 10 for Steve Bly out of Windsor. And then we'll have Aaron Fellows Jr. scheduled to go next. He's not out there. So we're going to move up to Guy Karen out of Lemston, New Hampshire, and then Dick Lamont out of White River Junction, Vermont. So we're going to be 5 along here in this one, heat number 2. Hey, don't forget, coming up at 3 o'clock, you've got the world-famous chicken barbecue. USA famous chicken barbecue, but New Hampshire famous. All right, the Claremont chicken barbecue. The great people over here are going to put this on for you at 3 o'clock, and what a deal it is. It's an entire meal deal. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't had any Art Grenier's famous chicken or his wife's macaroni salad, you don't know what you're missing. Here we go. Aaron Fellows Jr. makes it out. So he will start shotgun on the field. Pace car heads up pit road. Get ready. Mac Bergstrom and Tyler Lescord going to bring the field to green. Here we go. It's race time. On the outside, Tyler Lescord and Guy Karen will lead him into turn number 1. Off turn 2, Steve Bly joins the gang up front. It's Lescord, Karen, Bly, Bergstrom, Lamont, and Fellows as they complete lap number 1. Lamont quickly slides up the outside. He'll take over the 4th spot. Now, Guy Karen wants a challenge for the lead early. He'll dive inside of Tyler Lescord in turn number 3. Steve Bly wants to follow him through. We'll see how it happens. Karen, your leader for lap 2. Bly gets the nose underneath Lescord. Tries to draw even up the back straightaway. Lescord hangs tough on the outside. But in 3 and 4, Bly will have the advantage of coming off turn number 4. Steve Bly will have that 2nd spot. Tyler Lescord pulls the nose in. He'll follow him up the back straightaway. Dick Lamont a few car lengths back. Young Aaron Fellows, the junior, the rookie, right there in 5th spot. Max Bergstrom riding in 6th. Guy Karen now, the Predator, trying to open it up over Steve Bly. It's Karen, Bly, Lescord, Lamont, Fellows, and Bergstrom down to complete lap number 5. The Predator is on it once again, taking no prisoners. Steve Bly trying to close the gap. We've got 2 laps to go. Lamont slows a little bit in turn 4, gets it straightened out, and then comes down the front chute. Bergstrom comes around 4. He's still rolling hard. White flag in the air now. The Predator leading Stephen Bly, Tyler Lescord, Dick Lamont, who's still having problems in turn number 4. White flag, and now Bergstrom will make it complete, and here comes the checkers. Guy Karen takes the win. Steve Bly right home 2nd. Tyler Lescord right there in 3rd. A battle for 4th now. Lamont having trouble in 4th. Aaron Fellows Jr. will slip by him for 4th. Lamont slides back to 5th, and Max Bergstrom rounds out the field. Heat number 1 for the Outlaws in the books, and listen to the radio on the way up here today. But now, today was on this day, years ago, the famous crocodile hunter, Steve Irwin, passed away. Didn't know that. Admired the guy for what he did, but let's face it. I mean, any of you guys ever see the show he did about the world's 10 deadliest snakes? I mean, he's down there in the bushes, you're like, oh, cracky, I'm 10 inches away from the world's most deadliest snake. Watch his eyes roll in the back of his head when I tickle his tushy. You know, I mean, this guy was asking for it from the time he got fresh with his first lizard. So anyway, qualifying heat number 2. On the point, we're going to have Thomas Smithers the 6th. This young man is only 16 years of age. On the outside, the number 5 for Ackworth's Ryan Bell. Starting in 3rd, last night's feature winner and former track champion, Benny Poland. Scheduled up next, getting a little help, is the Massachusetts crew. That's John Meany out of Gardner, Mass. John been racing since Moby Dick was a minnow. And I'll tell you what, if you get to know this guy, he is a really, really good guy. John is a good friend of mine, and he's just one of them good-natured friends until you cross him. And let's hope we can get the 15 mass running. And rounding out the field in that beautiful number 32, that's Travis Cass. Travis, another one of the youngsters who grew up here at the Claremont Speedway, Twin State Speedway, Claremont Motorsports Park. Been here since Moses wore short pants. So John Meany is not going to make it. So we'll double him up and get him ready to go green here. Lights go out on the pace car, lights go out on the track. Smithers and Bell. Poland and Cass. An 8-lap dash for the cash. Here we go. Leo Martin takes a pace car up pit road. Get ready. Flagman looks him over. Green flag is out. It's Ryan Bell by a coat of paint at the start-finish line. The inside groove trying to work. No. Bell gets a big run on the outside. He'll lead him down into turn number 3. Now Benny Poland trying to work his... Oh, look out! We have trouble. The number 5 shut down. Smithers was right behind him, and Benny Poland was right behind him. Nobody had anywhere to go. The fortunate one in the whole incident was the 32 of Travis Cass, as he was on the outside and out of harm's way. Smithers gets the 60 fired back up, and it looks like we're going to have a push truck for Ryan Bell in that number 5. Disappointing for this young man. He's doing double duty today. He's also got the 8 New Hampshire modified. That's a black and orange machine that you'll see Ryan Bell in coming up in time trials in just a few moments. Pace car comes back out. We'll see if Bell can get it fired up, or will he have to head up pit road? Hey, once again, don't forget the Blazing Grills over here on the Midway. There's great food there, and you really, really got to save your appetites for that chicken barbecue that's coming up. Art and his folks put such a deal into this, and it's an absolutely wonderful meal. When you go up to get your chicken barbecue dinner, tell them George sent you. All right, it looks like our field is set once again. We have dwindled down to 3. So we'll get them double back up. It'll be Cass and Poland on the front row now, with Smithers sitting in 3rd. Lights go out. 1 lap in the book. We'll have 7 laps to go. Leo Martin will take the pace car up pit road. And this is going to be a hard charge down the front straightaway. A pair of hot shoes on the front row. Green comes out. Cass by a half a fender at the line, but Poland with a good shot on the outside. And Benny Poland will streak into that lead. Like I said before, Poland fresh off a victory last night. Leads him down into turn number 1. Travis Cass following in his tracks with Smithers right there. Poland now up the back straightaway. Cass back a few car lengths with Smithers in tow. Lap number 3 is in the books now. Benny Poland, the former track champion, showing them how it's done in qualifying heat number 2 for the Brody Ledoux State Farm Outlaws. Benny tells me, he says, I've got a simple theory. Get out front and stay there. And that looks like what he's trying to accomplish right now. He took a lot of heat from Guy Caron last night, but was able to bring home the victory. And what a show that was. And I get an idea you're going to see these two matching up again later on. Poland now off turn number 4. He'll see the double sticks in the air. Well, we've got 2 laps to go. Travis Cass having a strong run there in second. Thomas Smithers, the 16-year-old, right there in that third spot. White flag out now as Poland comes off turn number 4. Benny Poland in his own zip code right now and in cruise control. Up the back straightaway. Into 3 and out of 3. Into 4 and out of 4. Benny Poland's going to take the win. He'll be followed by Travis Cass in at number 32. And Thomas Smithers, the 6, will round out the field. Thank you, folks, and see you soon.
Great job, George. Great always to have you here in the booth with us. And we're going to get ready to go. Ace Tech Tire and Auto Modified Time Trials.
Can you hear me, Brian?
The Ace Tech Tire and Auto Modifieds are staged. Brian Morway, the 33, the Morway Auto Salvage Maurice Saddle Prizes, modified, ready to take first time. Brian in a new ride for him, a new challenge for him. And he's going to scuff the tires in, get some heat going. Probably doesn't have his cool suit on, but definitely would like it today here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. And he's on the clock for his first run. Brian Morway pedals the car out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. Lands it into turn 3. Exit turn number 4. Little eye comes out. First time is a 14.515. Morway looking to pick it up. Brian, such a smiling face every time you talk to him in the pit area. Whoa, a little hot. Going into turn 4, regrips it, and it'll be a 14.933. First time was his fastest time.
Usually scrub it off a little speed-wise when you're coming out of turn 4 wide. Next up, Adam LaPointe out of Swansea, New Hampshire. Adam in his rookie year, Saturday night, Matt Kimball got in that car to help the LaPointe team get it set up. So Adam is out here for a qualifier. He's done it a few times at Monadnock. Turning up the wick here. Let's see what he can do with it. On the green, Adam LaPointe. The Adam LaPointe Electric Modified. Charges down into 3, keeps it wicked low coming off. He has to get on the binders coming off the turn, and he'll turn out a 14.751. The second lap coming up for Adam LaPointe. Gets a little bit better exit off of turn 4 this time, and it drops down to a 14.428.
All right, he is the reigning track champion, not in this ride, but his own ride at the Monadnock Speedway in the Triton Automotive-sponsored Barnard Race Cars number 2. This is Tyler Leary. Leary looking to get some fast time on the board, goes onto the clock. Rocks it down the backstretch. Low, tight, and into turn number 4 with a 14.235. Kenny Veteran in time number 2. Gonna really juice it out of 4 this time with a 14.211.
Last night, had a little bit better times. Here we go with Ryan Bell out of Ackworth, New Hampshire. Ryan Bell just jumped out of his previous ride, getting into this one, getting on the clock now. In the 8 New Hampshire, in case you can't read the number, 14-2-1-1 was just driving across the stripe. Here's the second one. And it's another 14-2-1-1. No, I didn't think so. White flag was out. Here we go for second lap. All right. That time did not go up for him. Let's see what happens now when we bring out the 46. That'll be Jeremy Zulo. He has his own way of heating the tires up. Zulo. Best lap last night was 14-137. Let's see what he does. He's on the green. Let's see if the clock is working this time. Zulo thunders down the backstretch. Gets a wide turn off of 4. Out to the wall. First lap. 14-304. 14-304. Second lap. Can he pick up some time here? Get close to the top. It's 14-2-8-4. 14-2-8-4. Two pretty consistent laps.
Next modified to take time is the 27. Out of Sunapee, New Hampshire, this is Mike Smith. Mike gonna look to put the heat down, going around out of turn number 4. He's on the clock as he comes across the stripe. It'll be his first time this time by, working it down the back stretch. Got some wiggle going on. Exits turn number 4, gonna hit the stripe this time by with a 14-2-7-0. Smith looking to pick it up, drops the hammer on the backstretch. Lands it into turn 3, exits turn number 4 with a 14-0-1-1. Mike Smith.
Shutton, that'll put Mike on the pole right now. Next best time, it looks to be like a 14-2-11 for Leary. Here he comes, the Predator. Aaron on the track. Aaron Fellows will take it down off to work on his first lap. Darn good time last night. 13-8-2-7. Let's see what he can do today. Track's a little different when it's a nice warm day instead of a cool evening. First lap now. Aaron Fellows pedals it hard off of turn 4, swings out by the wall under the flag. 13-9-2-0. Can he trip it down a little bit more? Get it down to a 13-7? Whoa. No, 13-8-9-6.
Ringing a bell for the pole stop. Here he comes. Scotty, Vermont is where he goes home in the McGee Auto Family Racing for This Is Your Hometown Hot Shoe, Joey Jarvis. Jarvis. Get a lot of good feel for this 4-car today. Going to be on the clock as we speak. This will be his first time. Rocks it into turn 3. Exits turn number 4. Going to take the stripe with a 14-1-9-7. Going to pick it up. Floats it out of turn number 2. Stays hot in the hot pedal. Here he comes out of turn number 4 with a 14-0-5-7. 14-0-5-7.
Rolling out now at second podium last night. Won the races on Saturday night at Monadnock. Out of Granby, Massachusetts, here comes Nate Wenzel on the clock. Wenzel in the 03. Wenzel in high out of 3, low off of 4, swings out wide, keep that speed up. First lap, 13.974. Got to pick it up a little bit if he's going to pick up the pole spot. Here he comes. One more time, right off the wall, 13.906. Not quite enough to bump the 29 of Aaron Fellows. Puts him in there, second fastest time.
Hey, to qualify last, to take time today, out of Sunapee, New Hampshire, your last night's feature winner in the Maurice Enterprises RHR sponsor. This is the Professor Brian Roby. Roby twisting and turning the 25. He's a study of the game. That's where the nickname Professor comes from. Going to be on the clock for his first time. Let's see, can he knock Fellows off the pole? If anybody can do it, David, it would be this guy. Got a 13.891. And that's it.
He knows he got it.
He knows he's got it. Spotter told him so. Going to go relax the 25 ride and get ready to go back.
5 1,000ths of a second.
Boom.
That's all it takes. So Brian's on the pole. They'll set the lineup for us for tonight's 30-lap feature event. Coming right up, the Avery Insurance 6-shooters. Cautions, no cautions. Green to checker every race. Let's go. One line up here that's out of place. So Valley Pure Stocks, which I don't do, so I don't need them. Hey, where'd she go? She's off selling tickets. You can't buy a ticket if you don't come back.
She already sold the one out. She looked at me. Oh, she's trying to spare you.
She told me the same thing. She said the odds are better for us here. All right. You've heard our conversation about our odds. Your odds are good. Nicole is still selling raffle tickets. Great odds here tonight. Better than Powerball. And while we work on better than Powerball, here come the Avery Insurance 6-shooters. Ready to go racing. On the pole. Race number 1. From Grantham, New Hampshire, Steve Miller Sr., the Space Cowboy, trying to see if he can space things out better than he has so far this weekend with a couple of not great finishes. Outside of him, Steve Miller Jr., we call him the Gangsta of Love. He'd love to win again. He won his heat. Didn't win the feature last night. But we'll find out. That's row 1. Row 2, the 03W. That's Matt Winter from Springfield, Vermont. He's going to be right up there contending with the Millers, and they had a little contention going on the last couple of nights. Let's see if they've got that straightened out. Starting 4th on the outside in the 44, that'll be Tyler Scott from Perkinsville, Vermont. He's followed by another Scott. That's Jacob Scott from Springfield, Vermont. Then our 6th starter will be last night's winner. That's Robert Shaw out of Perkinsville, Vermont. Starting in the 4th row inside from White River Junction, car 37, Ryan Young. Try that, Trevor Young. Trevor Young, got it right there. Trevor Young, we missed Robert Shaw briefly, but he's there. Trevor Young, Chooch Schneid in the 12, the 8 of Ryan Upham, the 77 from Roswell Mason, Andrew Scott in the 13, Scott Fian in there. They're in the green. Boy, that was a quick start. They blew right through the 603 Metalworks restart zone, and they're on their way, easing him way up into the front. That's the 68 for Steve Miller Sr. Here comes Winter down inside, rubs up against the 79, and around goes Scott. Got caught up by one of the other competitors. Looks like maybe Robert Shaw. 2 more flailing away, coming off of turn 4, and the caution comes out. I don't think we'll even get a lap on the books here. And it's a good thing because we still got the timer up, and it took them 25 seconds to get that mess out of the way.
Bumping and grinding up in the front for sure, David.
Wow.
The Millers, Matt Winter, the Scotts, Robert Shaw. Everybody looking to go to victory lane here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. I'd like to take a moment while we're under caution to thank all you folks for joining us. Please stay hydrated. It is hot. It is a hot night or afternoon of racing and even hotter temperatures out there, so please stay hydrated. Welcome all the folks home watching, maybe sitting in the AC, watching us on Nastrovision. Thanks to Mark Beaudry, Nate, all his staff, for all the folks that they can provide in-home services for you or wherever you're at. Maybe this Labor Day you're actually working and you're streaming live from wherever you are. We thank you for joining us. And if you haven't got your subscription, go to nastrovision.com and you can see all the racing, because there is a ton more of racing at all the Nestor tracks to go before we close out the 2023 racing season.
Just to echo what Randy just told you, it's 85 degrees out there, folks. Be sure you get some water into you. It's not wise. Take the time just to walk up to the concessions and get a liquid beverage. Alcohol, by the way, dries you out. I hate to tell you, it tastes really good. I'm one to tell you that, but it does dry you out on a hot day, and that adds to the chance of a little heat issue. So we see if we can get everybody squared away lineup-wise. They're talking to them from the race control here in the tower. Make sure they're where they're supposed to be after all of that. At least the scoreboard looked right to start with. The time isn't, but we'll count the laps down. There's only 20. Getting them squared up and doubled up. So it'll be Steve Miller and Steve Miller. Matt Winter, and the 13 this time for Andrew Scott. Boy, he got way up there. The 44 for Tyler Scott. Then the 12 of Chooch Schneid. The 37 of Trevor Young. The 5 for Scott Vian. Robert Upham in the 8, the 28 of Jacob Scott, Garrett Berry, and Roz Mason. Pace truck car is off the track. We're into the 603 Metalworks Reside zone. The green comes out. They were already started. Big Daddy taking over Sean. Here comes Winter one more time. They're going to try the same thing. Everybody wants to get to the front in the first lap here. Rolling off the corner, it's Steve Miller with the lead. Look out. Winter getting into the side of Steve Miller Jr., who dives down in front of him, challenged him to tap his bumper, which he does, trying to get by. Winter going to be Peck's bad boy in this one. Drives up, bumps into the 79, pushes him out of the corner a little bit, and goes after it. Gets banged into by Miller. Here comes the Scott. And here comes the other Scott trying to take out the young Miller. Parts and pieces going all over the place. Everybody else going all over the place as well. Don't let that get away. Here comes young Steve Miller Jr. The 44 goes out. And coming back in is the 07 of Shaw. We did not get a caution. We're still racing. Miller Sr. out in front. Your winner, Robert Shaw, went in and out of the pits, and that car's just not sticking anywhere. It's Steve Miller Sr., Winter, Scott, and Young, and then Chooch Schneid, Barry, Vians, and Miller. Upham getting passed by Robert Shaw, who's got a long way to go to chase him to the top. Steve Miller Sr., Matt Winter, Andrew Scott running third, Jacob Scott running fourth, Trevor Young running in the 5 spot, Chooch Schneid running 6, As we say, we're watching the lap times, not the laps on the clock, so they'll get that changed over at some point. Meanwhile, just keep your eye on Brian Martin. He'll show you the halfway mark, then just count those laps down. Young, Miller hoping to have one good night out of 3 this weekend. Winter and Scott. The other Miller trying to track him down, but these guys, all these cars are pretty equal. It's kind of hard to make up ground if you get down a little bit. Smoker coming out from underneath. A little trail of fluid right there on the inside of turns 1 and 2. The 77 is dumping fluid somewhere. Should be getting off the track. Got a ring of fluid all around the inside groove, and the caution comes out. And 77 apparently does not get the word from upstairs that he's got to get off the track. Yeah, now he gets off. After he's dumped everything in the car on the racetrack. That's going to be Speedy Dry City going down, and we had a ton of that last night too. The worst came when Hayden Grenier lost a motor going into turn 1 and banged it into the turn 1 wall right between the 2 turns, right about beyond the caution light there. And we had a big dump running down the bank. Took a while to get that cleaned up. And one other roundy round. Not as bad as Monadnock on Saturday night. We had about 3 of those where they dumped 360 degrees worth of stuff twice. You don't want to be the crew out here. These guys are going to do all this by hand.
I did think, though, that I'd like to be the Speedy Dry broker at this point.
Yeah, that's the best concession to have on a hot day.
Speaking of hot days, folks, it is hot here. Please, there is ice cream in the concession area. And don't forget that Artie and his crew are going to have a chicken barbecue ready here for you shortly. And please stay hydrated, drink water. Make sure you're staying. If you need a break, get out of the sun, go behind the tower here. We can provide you at least shade, if nothing else. Track crew's going to try to get this Speedy Dry applied as quick as they can. Gorgeous new Claremont Motorsports Park Toyota Tundra. Beautifully done up by Synergy Signworks. They do such an awesome job. We've got a brand new one down at the Monadnock Speedway as well. And can't thank McGee Toyota of Claremont for all their help. Got a gorgeous Toyota Camry pace car. Support those who support us for sure. Got some new sponsors and some longtime sponsors here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. Thank the folks at R.E. Hinckley. They've been with us an awful long time here. La Valley Building Supply, another longtime sponsor. Ace Tech Tire and Auto. Their sponsor, our modified division, been with us a long time here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. And we've also brought in the folks at Avery Insurance. They've been here now for the past couple of years here at the Claremont Motorsports Park, and a new sponsor of the Outlaw Series in Brody Ledoux's State Farm. She's an awesome lady to talk to if you ever have an opportunity or have a need. She would definitely be willing to help in any way possible.
Well, I think we're just going to whoa them up here while the guys have a chance to work on it, keep the cars from overheating. Because they've got a ways to go with the Speedy Dry coming down off the pit road just to see whether that moisture dump extended down into turns 3 and 4. Looks like it finally petered out there somewhere around the middle of the backstretch, about around the O'Reilly sign. Nice. All the rest of the folks you see down the backstretch helping support racing here at Claremont Motorsport Park. Arrowhead Motors not only supporting the track but sponsoring a lot of the cars. If you're looking for a new credit card, the official credit card of NASCAR is Credit One. You see it over there. Milton Cat's been around a long time. I mean a long time, providing cat products for New Hampshire and beyond. Kona Ice, official ice here of Claremont Motorsport Park. Nationwide Insurance, that's the folks at Avery Insurance. Town Line Towing and Auto Repair. and Country Fuels, Casella Waste Treatment, Waste Collection as well. O'Reilly Auto Parts, we all knew them long ago as Bond Auto Parts before they were acquired, but all those same offices are open throughout New England, up and down the Connecticut Valley. Black Rock Steakhouse, I haven't been there for a long time, and I am looking for a Saturday night off so we can go out to dinner up there. It's a great way to have a steak. 802 Credit Union, formerly known, I believe, as River Valley Credit Union when they started down in Putney.
NASCAR's Advanced Auto Parts, official sponsor of the Speedways. Short, small, big, and tall, whichever one you're at, Advanced Auto Parts usually has their hand in it. And it's great to see Craftsman back in the sponsorship for the Craftsman Truck Series this season. Comatech, they are a specialized gasket company that do perform and put together specialty gaskets, and Geico is the official sponsor of NASCAR, their big-time insurance. Geico. And David, we talked about schedule. We're here next on September 22nd, and we'll have all of our divisions in-house and ready to roll. And then we're going to be back for another 2-day event in October. We are here for a 2-day event. October 14th, we'll start Saturday night with a Saturday night. And then rumor has it, that is going to be an open wheel Saturday. If you're a full fendered fan, come back and join us on the 15th. That's Sunday for a huge card of racing here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. This is something that track owner Ben Bozowski and Norm Wren, along with general manager Brian Martin, have put together to end the season here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. And they've been working hard at getting all these teams to come here October 14th and 15th, and it should be a awesome another 2-day event doubleheader that will take place here at the Claremont Motorsports Park.
Looks like we got the speedy dry taken care of now, and get these guys rolling here in a minute and get it worked in. The guys with the brooms are working the hardest. It's a hot day to be out there. On the track, I can tell you it's not 85 degrees. It's probably 15 degrees hotter, closer to 100 on the track, and in those race cars a little bit more than that. Steve Miller, Jr. takes the Gangster of Love machine off onto the cart path and he is heading up onto the pit path. He may have time to get it fixed out and get back out here. Unless it got a little too hot, the guys fire up and let's get going. Get on that speedy dry and clean it up real quick.
Definitely spread throughout the each and every section on the low line through the middle here in the completely around the track, David. It's going to take some minutes to scuff that in. 6 shooters are ideal to do that. They do not run a slick type tire, unlike the modifieds in our RE Hinckley late models. So it'll take them just a few minutes to scuff this in. Hopefully we can get back to racing.
Well, the trick is just stay off the first groove and you'll be fine. Unfortunately, right there where the 03 went by is the preferred position coming off of turn 2. Getting up on the outside just opens the door for anybody who wants to go by. Also, when it's slick, that means that the guy down that low line could very well slip up and collect some guys going down into the backstretch. Meanwhile, we'll get it cleared off. It was a huge amount. We do have lawn leaf blowers, but it'd take a long time for someone to walk around with those. I'd sit in the back of the truck myself and just go slowly and blow it all to the infield. But then I don't run the infield crew. They do a really good job, and especially now because it's such a warm day.
They're down there baking in the sun. Hopefully they're staying hydrated as well. It's definitely a warm one. I think Brian Martin, our general manager and flagman, probably, other than the drivers, has the hottest spot in employment today. So we're glad to see Brian be able to help the track survive in any way he needs to have it happen. He does such a great job. Long-time involvement here in the go-kart series, which I'll tell you what, David, if you've never seen it, it's amazing to see the amount of go-karts that come here in competition and those that have come up out of that competition and are now running regular race cars.
Really, the version here at Claremont of the young guns that race at Monadnock, a lot of those kids are coming into racing, unlike 30, 40 years ago when you couldn't go into pits until you were 16. We couldn't have a youth division, and kids didn't have a chance to get wheel time. Now, a youngster coming into a young guns division or a pure stock division where they can be 14 may have already had 6, 7, 8 years of go-kart experience. This is just a big go-kart for them to come out. A great way to grow your future race drivers. There's some other guys. I remember Lake Speed racing back in NASCAR back in the 80s. He was, I think, not only the national, maybe the world go-kart champion before he stepped into a race car, and he was at that point an adult. So he'd raced a good 10 to 15 years in a go-kart before he ever got into a full-size race car. So there's hope for these kids to come out here and run on the asphalt. There are other areas in New England where they can race on the dirt and get a little different sense of what it's like to race a go-kart. It's a technology. A long way since I raced go-karts with my sons back in the 80s, I'll tell you that. But still fun and good way to race without a whole lot of risk.
And also those who, if you want to race them, get acquainted, if you can reach out on Facebook to Nick Boyven. Nick Boyven is huge, a former racer, raced multiple divisions here and at the Monadnock Speedway. He's been raced in all kinds of different tracks. Nick is really into the go-kart setups, into the go-karts. He can start you out on a lesser level, or if you want the top-line performance go-kart, he's got that available as well. All right, looking, Brian Martin says, come on, get down here, get a little lower, get in that low line. Trying to get this scuffed in. Steve Miller, our leader, looks like he's on the backstretch waiting for everybody to join him.
I think he's feeling it's okay now. Pace car pulls out. Brian is ready to get him lined up again. Restart, lap number 9 out of 20. All right, pace cars collecting the field. Miller and Scott. Andrew Scott's worked his way up to second. Matt Winter in third. Fourth is Jacob Scott. Chooch Snide runs in sixth right now as they come around. They're going to get the green next time by. Then Robert Shaw, thank God for the caution. That gets him back up into the mix. Steve Miller Jr., plenty of time for him to go back in the pits and get some work done on that car after his mishap earlier in the afternoon. Pace car heads up pit road. They point those cars to turn 3 to the 603 Metalworks and collision. Restart zone. They get the restart. They get the green. They're gone. Here comes Miller. Charges down into turn 1. Are they all going to hold on there? It's a little bit dicey. Chooch finds some room. Here comes Shaw up the inside. 3 wide going into 3. Hang on, someone's going to come up on the short end of the stick, and it's Jacob Scott. Check that, Winter, who gets squeezed out. No caution. Everybody's still going. Miller leads the lap. Andrew Scott, Robert Shaw, Jacob Scott. Scott Vian has moved up. Still rolling. Off the corner they come, and we are halfway.
On the backstretch,
Miller, Scott, and Shaw. Problems on the backstretch with Chooch Snide heading up. Whoop! Yep, he's out of the way. Okay, that was a little dicey. The 51 of. Whoop! Now we have a caution. Slowing down is Garrett Berry, and he does not head up pit road. Well, that kind of changed things really fast.
You knew going into 3 and 4, something had to give when you pushed it 3 wide. And boy, Matt Winter got all kinds of sideways, spun through the spin cycle, re-grabbed there, and tried to get back. I think he thinks he's going to have his position or spot back.
Good way to tell, so look at the scoreboard. And you're not in the 4th spot on the scoreboard. You lost the space, they lost the lap. We'll see whether they reset the lineup. If they didn't count the lap, it's possible that he would be back there. We're hearing from Race Central. He took advantage of that. Like I said, look at the scoreboard. So Miller's still on top. Andrew Scott's still running second. Jacob Scott had moved up to third with all of that when they crossed the stripe. They didn't throw the yellow till after they'd gone across. They moved Jacob Scott up. They moved Scott Vian up. It moves Robert Shaw up. The inside line all moves up, and it's still single file. That's hard to do. Steve Miller's still just trying to hold on to the lead here as we once again trying to get back to the midpoint of this race. Hope you're all staying warm. Go grab some ice somewhere and dump it down your shirt. You'll feel a lot better. I say that, I don't say that facetiously either. If you've ever driven in really, really hot weather, my family and I had the opportunity, if you call it that, to drive across the Mojave Desert in the middle of July in a car with no air conditioning. That is what I call warm. We stole towels from the hotel and soaked them in ice water and kept swapping off as we drove around across California and up the middle part of the state. There are ways to stay cool. Don't make the general manager get down off the flag stand and tell you where to put your car. Winter's going to fight it here again. He's not 4th. And now he's going to try to bang into somebody who wants to pick up his spot.
If you know anything about Brian Martin, he is a very subdued gentleman. He's about probably to change that in just a moment. He's going to walk up individually here. He's got his hand out. He's telling Steve Miller, you can go. Andrew Scott, you can go. Jacob, you can go. Stopping the Shaw car. Now, there's where I'd like you to be placed, he says.
Follow the rules, boys. You know, have a hissy fit. I know it's a hot afternoon, but
tempers fly for sure.
The season's getting short. If there's points involved, everybody wants to be up front so they can get the best finish of the year. We've got one more race that really will settle things, I guess. So it's important. Now we get them to double up. Let's see if they can put in an 11-lap run without incident. All right, here we roll. And once again, the 03 has tried to move up a spot where he doesn't belong. One of them goes off. That's the pace car. That means there's race cars on the track. We come into the restart zone, and here's the green on their way back to green. Scott on the outside of Miller. They charge on into turn 3. Miller takes it up a little bit high, drops it down across the bottom of turn 2, and takes the lead down the backstretch. Andrew Scott and Jacob Miller. Here comes Robert Shaw, dives right down inside Scott Vian and moves into 4th spot, sliding off a turn through 3 to Speedy Drive. It's Miller. Scott, hang on. The 03 banging into everybody that's in his way. Showing a lot of smoke. He's going to have problems here in a minute. Steve Miller not happy with him. He was looking for him, I think. He's got a tire rub back there. Look out. There goes Jacob Scott. Robert Shaw sitting in third. He wants to get back to victory lane here. And the 03 has to take it off the track. He's got too much damage to continue. Miller, Scott, Shaw, Scott, then Miller and Vians. Here comes Robert Shaw. He's still got about 5.5 laps to go to get to the end of this. Oh, Robert Shaw's a lap down. My apologies. Shaw is down a lap. He's got to get by the leader and go all the way around. Shaw, I thought, went in during the caution. Went in a lap before the caution. I hope he knows he's a lap down, because right now it's still Miller and Scott, your top three, with Robert Shaw trying to make up a lap. And if he doesn't make up a lap and he doesn't get a caution to catch the back of the field, he's going to be finishing last on the track. And there he goes, pushing too hard. Pushed himself right out sideways. Driving like that shows he wants to get back on top, but by the same token, he could endanger the guys behind him. Less than 5 to go here. Shaw still trying to get himself a lap back. Comes up behind Miller. Less than 4 laps to go. Shaw dives into the corner on the brakes. Here comes Miller. Lap 17 in the books. Miller may not know that he's a lap down. Hang on. This could be an interesting finish.
Steve Miller Sr. is your leader. The lap car of Robert Shaw racing to try to get that lap back. But it's the 13 of Andrew Scott, the 28 of Tyler Scott, and then the 5 car as well. Holy moly. Shaw all over Steve Miller Sr. One circuit to get it done. I don't think Shaw's going to get his lap back that way, but maybe. Steve Miller coming to take the checkers, followed by Andrew and Jacob Scott. The 79, the Gangster of Love, Steve Miller Jr. And then the 5 of Scott Vian. Scott is the former champion of the mini stock division. Garrett Prairie in the 51. And Shaw will round out our field. We're going to go trackside with Dave Sutherland.
Down here trackside, before I walk in front of our winner, off he goes. An interesting finish to the day, for sure. Got to get everybody waiting for the victory lane celebration. Steve Miller had his issues on Saturday night. He had his issues last night. He's had to work on the car. We'll let him detail what he did, but he had to put a lot of parts and pieces back together Saturday night into Sunday and last night into today. Smell a lot of hot cars down here for some strange reason. And Steve Miller rolls into victory lane. A quick picture from our photo crew. Miss M with the traditional glass of water. Don't forget, you'll get pictures for all of this stuff on Miss M's Smug Bug page. Here he comes, your winner today, Steve Miller. Wow. Yeah. Well, Steve, I got to ask you, Which was more fun, winning the race or putting the car back together for 2 nights?
Yeah, it's been quite an interesting weekend, we'll say. I don't really know what happened behind me tonight here, or this afternoon here, but can't wait to watch the film on that. All covered in speedy drive from a car dumping oil on the track earlier, and I'm not sure where my son finished, but not sure what happened there either yet. We'll find out.
But a good win.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Car wasn't really handling to its top, but we made it work.
Got it to the top, and that's what counts. Even if the car's ill handling. Let's say, Andrew, come on over. Andrew and Jacob. Well, Miss M wants to get some pictures while we're at it. I will step in here. Hey, so a lot of action behind you guys tonight.
Well, with no mirrors, I have no idea what's going on behind me. I'm just looking at what's in front of me, so I'm just trying to do the best I can to catch the guys in front of me. Had a really good piece tonight. We worked really hard on it. I can't say thank you enough to my Scott's Motorsports team. I'm so proud of them. My brothers, Tyler and Andrew, and my dad, we worked hard on these cars all night, and they came out and they performed, so I'm super happy about that. Good run. Just like to thank all my sponsors, Phase Wreck and Repair, JC's Market in Delhi. I'd like to thank CML Property Maintenance, White's Rental and Construction, Hyden's Construction, and Perkinsville Maple Product and Supplies. Without their help, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
That's your third finisher. Jacob Scott had a good run. Andrew had a good view of the backside of the 68, but a good finish for you tonight.
Yeah, no, it was a fun one. It was pretty eventful. It was a little scrambling, but it is what it is. A little hard with all the power steering all over the track. Made it a little slick, but I'd like to thank all my sponsors. I'd like to thank Phase Wrecker, White's Rental, CML Property Management, JC's Market in Delhi, Hyden's Construction, Chambers Logging, and DNR Logging.
There you go. Your second place finisher tonight, Andrew Scott.
Thank you, Dave Sutherland. Next up on our feature events is the La Valley Building Supply Pure Stock feature. It's 25 laps is the distance, and it's going to be an interesting one to see as it pans out. Currently, the points set like this. Colton Martin is atop the points. Second goes to Andrea Santa Moore. She's 18 points behind. Chris Conroy is sitting in third, and Chris Chambers in fourth. Keegan Tabor, we saw Keegan in an awesome run earlier, is in fifth. So it should be interesting to see how this transpires and what takes place. We've already seen that Colton Martin is in a different ride tonight or this afternoon, and he's going to be sporting the 4 car in red. Race red. We get a clear victory lane from the 6-shooter division. Congratulations to Jacob and Andrew Scott and our winner tonight, Steve Miller Sr. After the pure stocks, it will be the A-Stack Tire and Auto Modifieds in the house for their 30-lap feature event, followed by the Brody Ledoux State Farm Outlaws for 25 laps. And we'll end our afternoon here at the Claremont Motorsports Park with our R.E. Hickley late models for a 35-lap feature event tonight. Thank you, folks, for joining us here on this very hot Labor Day. Thanks for spending your holiday time with us. We're glad that we can be here to put on a show of this quality for you. Thanks to all the folks listening and watching at home on Nastrovision. You may have the best seat in the house tonight. Come out, folks. Being led out by the Claremont Motorsports Park, McGee Auto Group, McGee Toyota of Claremont sponsored Camry. Starting on the pole in the 5, that's Claremont, New Hampshire's Aiden White. To his outside is Randolph, Vermont, the 74. That is Keegan Tabor. Inside, row number 2 out of Chelsea, Vermont, is the 20 of Andrea St. Amour. The reigning champion in this division out of Chelsea, Vermont, starts on the outside of his stepdaughter in the 20 Vermont. That is Chris Chambers. Starting inside, row number 3, Newport, New Hampshire is where he calls home. That is Chris Conroy in the 78. The young hot shoe called the closer in the borrowed ride. And the 4, Claremont, New Hampshire is where he calls home. That is Colton Martin. Inside, row number 4, in the 8, is Newport, New Hampshire's Sean Lantis. Outside of Lantis, in the 1, New Hampshire, is Carlos Grenier. Row number 5, inside shows Chris Bingham. Row number 5, outside, Nick Shepard. And taking tail on the field in the 10 is Ryan Christensen out of Canaan, New Hampshire. 25 laps is the distance. White and Tabor, St. Amour, Chambers, the 78 of Chris Conroy, and Colton Martin. They'll enter the 603 Metalworks and Collision start zone. Brian Martin says green we go. Tabor out to the early lead, gets the jump, dives into turns 1 and 2. White's not going to have that, fighting back on the inside. Aiden White grabs back, comes across, will hit the stripe this time by, and he's back in the lead. Side by side for third between St. Amour and Chambers. Colton Martin in the 4, right behind, will make the challenge if there's an open door. But right now your leader is Aiden White. Keegan Tabor, St. Amour by a nose at the line for third. Down to the inside goes St. Amour, takes Colton Martin with her. Chambers hung up on the outside, not the preferred line, but he's going to try to make it work the best way he knows how. Aiden White airing out the 5W. Keegan Tabor in the 74. Runs in second. In third is Andrea St. Amour, Colton Martin, Chris Chambers, Chris Conroy. Now the challenge on the inside of Grenier. Shepard in the 43. Gonna make the pass on the inside coming out of 2, but the challenge for the lead. Tabor looks to the inside of White. They're gonna come across the stripe. White's got him by a fender. Keegan Tabor down to the low line. Gets the lead on the backstretch. Aiden White in second. The 20 of Andrea St. Amour, Colton Martin, and then the 20 Vermont of Chris Chambers. Throw a blanket over your top 5. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Challenge comes from St. Amour to White. She's looking for the second spot. Andrea St. Amour, and now St. Amour's got a bumper full of Colton Martin. That car has gone to victory lane Saturday night, Sunday night, and would like to go on Monday afternoon. Keegan Tabor looking to escape, open up his lead just that much more. White still is in second. St. Amour, Colton Martin, Chris Chambers. Martin looking to the inside as they go into turns 1 and 2. St. Amour sets her sights on the inside of White. White closes the door as they exit turn 4. Andrea St. Amour. Oh, White gets squirrely. The opportunist comes No, he's not going to do that. Colton Martin almost was trying to gain 2 spots if he could. Keegan Chambers still out in the lead. Challenge now for 4th. Chambers looking to the inside on the 20 over the 4 of Colton Martin. White trying to find the preferred line to get around Tabor to retake the lead. But Tabor running a smart line of his own. Keegan Tabor's got all over the backside of him. Aiden White halfway home, this time by Tabor. Trying to stretch away. He'll get away for a minute, and then White seems to be able to roll him in. Working their way across the front stretch down into 1 and 2. Looks like White's going to make an attempt on the inside. Nope. Tabor says nope, that's my line. Oh, a little bit of contact from White to the back bumper of the 74 of Tabor. Straight as an arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Your top 5: Tabor, White, St. Amour, Martin, and Chris Chambers. Keegan Tabor working the wheel of the 74. Getting around the lap car of the 10 of Ryan Christensen. Lap cars down on the low line. Everybody takes the high line. White gets to the back bumper one more time. Tries to make the challenge. Working the wheel is the driver of the 5W. Keegan Tabor. St. Amour in your 3rd spot. Colton Martin in 4th. Being challenged now by Chris Chambers in the 20. Gonna come by with 5 fingers, 5 laps to go. This time by.
Laps winding down. Still, Tabor hanging in there. Aiden White looking for a chance. They've got a lapped car behind him that's going to hold up Andrea St. Amour. Here's the 4 car trying to get down low and stay there, but on the outside, Chris Chambers finally snatches 4th away. Aiden White on the back bumper of the 74 coming off of turn 2. Coming back at him here. Lap 23, turn 4. Can't make the move. Right glued to his bumper as they come off. Andrea St. Amour sitting in 3rd spot. Chris Chambers 4th. Colton Martin will not make it a 3-peat with that car this week. 2 to go. White flag. Keegan Tabor. Aiden White. Andrea St. Amour. One more chance for Aiden White. He's got to really turn up the wick if he's going to take the win here. Here he comes, dives down inside, can't move the car out of the way. The checkered flag goes, it's for Keegan Tabor. Aiden White 2nd. 3rd to Andrea St. Amour. Chris Chambers moves up to 4th. Colton Martin settles into 5th. 6th goes to Chris Conroy. Wow. At least they got it going pretty much all the time here. Tabor had a lot of pressure. Comes down to collect a checkered flag. He said, I'm ready to go. Get me that flag. Chris Chambers will pull into the infield and share victory lane with Andrea St. Amour. We'll be moving on pretty soon to the Aztec Tire and Model Modifieds. 30 lapper for them. But right now it's Keegan Tabor taking his victory lap. And as he does that, let's take things down trackside to Randy Wheelock.
Thank you, Dave Sutherland. Folks, give him a rousing round of applause. He earned the win. It's Keegan Tabor. Had such a great time talking with this young man when I first came up here to the Claremont Motorsports. He's excited to be going to get himself situated, squared around. We'll get him out of the car. You're going to see what an excited young man. Going to get his photo taken in Victory Lane. Miss M giving the instructions, making sure he's got it right so she can get him his due honor. Oh, got to grab the checkers. Aha, that's what he's looking for more than anything. The water. Keegan Tabor! Oh, you're coming across the roof. I love it. There you go, folks. He's proud. He's ready. Jump on down this side, pal. I'll help you down. Wow, buddy. We said I would see you later.
Yeah, I said.
How does this feel?
This is an amazing feeling. We had a rough race last night. Everyone was just really aggressive. Some of the driving choices were questionable out there, but we got the car fixed tonight and we came back to win it.
In it to win it. Who helps you get it to Victory Lane?
My dad, my grandfather, my buddy Matt, and all my sponsors.
Very proud of you. Keegan Tabor in Victory Lane. Gonna sneak over here. Aiden, come on up and join us here, buddy. You tried. You were there. You kept getting there, but you know what? The consummate professional, you didn't want to turn him, and that was what showed. You did proud.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Not much to say. Good, clean race. Had fun. Yeah, that's about it.
These folks help you out?
Of course.
Who's that to help you?
My dad, my stepdad, mom, everyone in the pits over there. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Congratulations. But this is your number 2. Let's go see if we can get our young lady to talk to us here. I think she's socializing on me. That's all right. She wanders off sometimes like this. Andrea St. Amour, I'm telling you, kid, you were coming. We said that you were coming to challenge the boys, and you made it work for sure. This one's got to feel pretty good.
I mean, yeah, 2 nights in a row after a hard one-lap wreck at Monadnock. So 2 podiums, you can't complain. Still fighting with the back end of the car. I can't thank Philip and my dad enough for, I think we changed everything. I got to thank Craig Smith for a 3rd practice because that helped us a lot and helped us figure out everything. But yeah, just happy to be here.
Great to be here. Andrea St. Amour. Thanks, Dad. I needed that. We're going to continue our feature racing. Here we go. Dave Sutherland.
Thanks, Randy. Coming up, the Aztec Modifieds. Lineup set. Out and nipped his fast time by 5 1/1000ths of a second, a 13.896 to a 13.891, which won Brian the pole, and we'll see what it wins him for starting position. They're waiting to come back out as soon as we completed Victory Lane. Miss M gets those group pictures to finish things off, and we always like to remind you that you will see her posted on Facebook. Results from the tracks that she pays a visit to, plus a whole lot of extras. And she does have a website where you can go and order pictures of your favorite driver or favorite winner, whatever that case may be. She appreciates your support, of course. Helps buy the water for all the drivers that she passes out. She comes in with a big cooler full of water and parks it in the infield and brings it to the drivers in victory lane. It's 3:40. There might still be some chicken left for you if you hurry up. We got a little break here before we move into our next feature. It's a good time to collect that chicken barbecue. What else would you have on Labor Day? If you were home, you'd be barbecuing chicken. Well, there goes Keegan. We'll have a burnout departure. Good chance. Make sure you're still staying hydrated, folks. Being hydrated is extremely important today. Chicken and pork is being served. So there you go. You can get your pulled, you get your pork, you get your chicken. You don't have to go home and cook dinner tonight. Just sit down here and watch our modifieds as they roll out. Pull right now after the draw in the 4. That'll be Joey Jarvis out of Windsor, Vermont. Joey Jarvis, second generation driver here in the 603 Metalworks and Collision machine. Starting second on the grid in the 27, it'll be Mike Smith driving out of Sunapee, New Hampshire. Smith in the 27 outside row 1, inside row 2. Had a second last night. He'd like another win this weekend in the Valley Recycling Machine. That's driven by Nate Wenzel from Granby, Massachusetts in the Jeans Ford and Chevy repair. Next on the grid will be the 29, the Predator, Aaron Fellows from Croydon, New Hampshire, the Victor Branch Construction, La Valley Building Supply machine. And right behind him to challenge for the lead at some point in the 25, the Maurice's Enterprise modified for Brian Roby from Sunapee, New Hampshire, the 25. Starting in the 33, that's Brian Morway out of Charlestown, the Morway's Auto Salvage Maurice Enterprises racer. Behind him in the 46, and behind the wheel, Jeremy Zullo from Claremont, New Hampshire, the Springfield paving entry. Next on the grid in the deuce, that's the Trident Automotive-sponsored Barnard Racing Team machine for Tyler Leary from Hatfield, Massachusetts. Behind Brian in the 8 New Hampshire, that's Ryan Bell out of Charlestown. And starting scratch as they get doubled up. Starting scratch, Adam LaPointe from Swansea, New Hampshire in the LaPointe Electric entry. Adam LaPointe. Ready to go, 30 laps, modified. They approach the collision restart zone. Hope there isn't one. Green is out, here they come. Mike Smith challenging Joey Jarvis off of turn 2. He washes up, Jarvis goes. Wenzel moves up. Wenzel looking low. It's still Jarvis, now Wenzel second. Smith third, look out! Third. The 27 gets sideways, and he collects Brian Roby's 25. Brian saw it coming and backed out to save any damage. No one's hurt, but that messes up the start. We'll see whether they have to reset the lineup after that wild one there.
The 46 of Jeremy Zullo stuck up there on the pit entrance area. Looks like he's got a problem with a Zulu fabrication modified today.
Well, I think he ran afoul of that kerfluffle coming off of turn 4.
Good terminology.
That's not a race term, but I've heard it used before, so it must work. I think he wants to try to make it go, but we'll get the guys some A+ over there to get him moved up. Consulting with our pit steward, allowing you in or out, whether you behave or not. It looks like you need a hook to get him up, so there must be some front end damage when all of that happened here coming off of turn 4. not the afternoon you want to sit driving around in a race car for a long period of time waiting for things to get straightened out.
There is no cool suits being worn by these cool cats for sure. Joey Jarvis still on the point. Nate Wenzel, the Superman, in the 29. The hot shoe in the 2, the deuce. That is Tyler Leary. The Rocket Man, Ryan Bell, sits there in the 8 New Hampshire. Ever seen a guy that could jump into anything? He doesn't matter what it is. I think he's got 3 cars here today, Dave.
Well, you got a lot of cars, you can do a lot of racing.
Sure.
Especially if it's in different divisions. Or you can have one car and put all your time into that and hope for the best. Depends on the level of enthusiasm that you have for racing. And over the decades, there have been a lot of people who've had a lot, and a lot of people who've been more moderated. They've all had a great lot of fun to begin with. It's been a long haul from the days of the dirt track here. And it's funny, I know there's people who don't remember Claremont as a dirt track, and the 1 season and a half that Monadnock was a dirt track, a lot of people, younger people, go, "It was? Really? When was that?" Well, it was a while back. That's when. Okay, let's double it up and see if we can get back running. We've got 1 out of 30 in the books. Joey Jarvis on the inside with Nate Wenzel on the outside. 29 of Aaron Fellows in the 4-2 for Tyler Leary. Then it'll be the 8 and the 33 and everybody else. And here they come into the restart zone. Green is out. Wenzel puts a pedal to the metal and hammers it off of turn 4 and takes the lead. Joey Jarvis sits in second. Aaron Fellows moving up. And we're all slowing down again. I guess that was not a very good start.
I think Brian Martin agrees with race control. That was not a valid start.
God, it was a great call, too. Darn it.
Did a great job, by the way, pal.
Okay, well, that's practice. That's practice.
Going to see the shaken green, I think, this time. It's going to be, come on point. Jarvis has the call. He sets the pace.
Well, Nate wants to at least get a double this weekend. He won at Monadnock on Saturday night. He got a second here last night. Would like to get a win here this afternoon. Here we go. They line them up again. Rolling down into turn 3, into the 603 Metalworks start zone. This time, Nate is still a little loose. Okay, out a little bit wide, and that 03 is get a little wobbly down the backstretch. It's Jarvis, Fellows. Now Wenzel moves into 3rd. Leary going 4th. 5th belongs to Bell. Roby working the outside, trying to move up and get into the top 5. Aaron Fellows looks inside on Jarvis off of turn 4. No room there. He'll settle in. One more try. Rides high into 1. They both guy high into 1. Fellows gets it squared off, but it won't stick. Jarvis again off the corner. Fellows on the bumper. Looks inside. Gets right down there. Drives in hard, and here comes Wenzel. Boy, taking an opportunity. Fellows and Wenzel. Jarvis back to 3rd. Here comes Roby. Roby jumps out of the back of the field after that spin. Moves quickly into 5th place. Moves past Leary into 4th place. And we complete 6 out of 30. It's Fellows, Wenzel, Jarvis, Roby, Leary. Then Bell and Smith, Adam LaPointe, and Mowry. Jarvis giving up a little space there, racing hard with Brian Roby. Roby's got it set up to run the outside, and that's working for him. He takes it outside and into 3rd place. Coming up to challenge Wenzel and Fellows. This could be the same finish as last night at the rate we're going. Aaron Fellows on top. Nate Wenzel runs 3rd. Brian Roby in the 3rd spot. Wenzel 2nd in the 03. Joey Jarvis 4th in the 4. The 2 is Leary. Leary has Ryan Bell on his bumper, and Mike Smith sitting back there in the 7th spot. Keep an eye on Roby. Wenzel's been a little loose coming off of 4 a couple of times. Wenzel trying to use up all the racetrack he can so he doesn't give any advantage to Brian Roby. Roby still trying to size him up. I think another lap or so you're going to see Roby dive inside. Going into turn 1. Stays right with Wenzel off of 4. Looks inside here. Wenzel punches the gas. Here comes Roby. He's shot into that 2nd spot. Right up in front. Does a slide job. Gets in trouble. And had to re-straight the car. Mowry slowed up. I guess he thought there was a caution coming. Mowry slowing up right in front of him. We do finally get to caution. I don't know what that was all about.
For Ryan Bell spun on the backstretch.
Oh my goodness. So Bell got caught up way in the back when the guys were bumping and thumping. And sometimes you hit the binders and the car goes around, you get in contact with somebody else.
Some slamming and jamming and Nerf bar touching up over the wheel between Brian Roby and the 25 and the 03 of Nate Wenzel.
And well, there you go. He's able to pull away. The safety
deal.
guys will head out, line these guys up. We are almost at the halfway mark.
We're there. We're in inches.
Well, it's inches is what they've been doing here. We've been watching Brian Roby size up Nate Wenzel, give him 2 or 3 laps to see where he can find a quick entrance. You've got to punch the gas really fast to get underneath someone going into turn 1. And Nate has been a little on the wiggly side. I guess Nate thought he'd gotten by. All right, guys, let's.
No, that's not going to work. Brian Martin shaking the green. Race control one way to the spotters. He's telling them to knock it off.
Well, it's pretty clear. It's up there on the board. Here they come again. Remember, Aaron Fellows sets the pace. Nate Wenzel wants to win. Fellows gets the edge. Here comes Wenzel. Roby's a little further back. 1 other position. This time, Roby goes inside right on Fellows' bumper. He's back to 2nd anyhow. Down the backstretch. You got him 3 wide behind the field. The lead on this one is Aaron Fellows across the stripe. It's a dead heat for 2nd. Wenzel dives inside. Can't make it stick. Over halfway now. Fellows, Roby, Wenzel, Jarvis, and Mike Smith. Mike had a respectable top 5 finish last night. Leary back to where he basically ran. Aaron Fellows wanted to win but had to follow Brian Roby across the line last night. This afternoon, Roby's trying to set him up for a pass and take the win. And again, the 33 spins coming off the corner, and the caution is out again. Murray spins for a 2nd time, out of danger fortunately, but it does cause a caution just in case. Refires and gets it back to them. They staggers off a little bit, just a guess, with the kind of spinning out he's doing. I'm not sure which side. That's not my specialty, but.
Are you a tire guy, Dave?
Yeah, I could set up a go-kart. I cannot set up a race car.
Here we go. We're going to try to get restarted here. On the outside is the Professor in Brian Roby, the Superman on the inside. Nate Wenzel, Joey Jarvis, 2 hot shoes right there in the mix. They're going to enter the 603 Metalworks in collision restart zone. Brian Martin says, let's rock. Contact between Roby and Fellows. Roby keeping on the outside, Fellows to the inside. Oh, spin. Brian Bell around in turn number 4. Gonna see if he can get it refired. Caution's gonna come out. That's a bad spot to be.
Boy, I'll tell you. right, well, let's see if we can get these guys straightened out again. I think they'll be doing a little homework back in the Bell Garage, see if they can keep that back end nailed down in the next race. The next race here is the 22nd. That's a Friday night of September. 2.5 weeks away. Bell takes it out of the field. That sets up another one here. Aaron Fellows trying to test Roby a little bit. Fellows and Wenzel on the inside, Roby on the outside. Here they come. Into turn one again. Fellows trying to hold Roby out there. Wenzel trying to slide up the inside. Into turn three. It's Fellows, Roby, Wenzel, Smith, and Jarvis. Jarvis starting to fade. The battle for the lead still there. Roby working the outside. He's the only one that's really been strong on the outside. Can he make it work off of turn four? Oh, right up to the wall. Just with an edge going into turn two. Here's Wenzel. Up high is Smith. That gives away to Jarvis. Roby on the outside off turn two. Lap 21. He's got the lead. Brian Roby worked and got that lead. Fellows is right there. The 03 of Wenzel is next. Fellows a little loose. Car's loosening up on him. Here comes Wenzel. Oh. Trying to keep from spinning out. Didn't mean to do it. That costs them both. Caution is out again. Smallest field, most cautions.
Aaron Fellows, a Superman around in turn number two. Been battling with Brian Roby. Brian Roby, the professor, worked the outside. Was 3 wide, taking the lead coming here through the front stretch. Brian Roby has got that 25 dialed up here for the Claremont Motorsports Park for sure.
Well, he certainly had worked it. He's been able to run the outside. No one else has really well. He got out there and he got the best of Aaron Fellows. Aaron looked like he was starting to lose a little bit of traction going into the corner. Wenzel got down low. Fellows came down a little bit, not realizing maybe that Wenzel was that close, but Wenzel now penalized to the back. That's going to change the complexion of things. We only have 8 laps left. What's going to happen here? They call on to double up. It's going to be Roby, Jarvis, and Smith with Leary. Then you've got the 2 slower cars of LaPointe and Mowry, and then Aaron Fellows and Nate Wenzel, and they're going to want to get to that top 5 in a big hurry. 8 laps left. Here they come into turn 4. They hit the zone. They hit the green. Roby takes off. Jarvis slides in there. So does Mike Smith. Now who's going to give up ground to let the other guys move up through? No one yet. Trouble on Mowry. He's way back. Roby, Jarvis, Mike Smith, Tyler Leary, Adam LaPointe, and hang on. Wenzel's tires are going away on this hot day. And Aaron Fellows went right over the back wheel of Wenzel and into the fence. That was a hard hit. Man, I'm telling you. Wenzel got a little loose, and I don't know if that was because he was helped or whether he was just loose. Took umbrage to the fact that the 29 was there, and tempers flare. And Fellows gets up over the right rear and brings it down into the turn 1 wall. They'll quickly come over from Speedway Safety Services and check him, grab a fire extinguisher in case. And a predator becomes the prey.
Superman has certainly lost his cape.
Okay, Aaron's okay. Word is from Ray Central. So the car's not. He is. He'll be back, I'm sure, Saturday night at Monadnock for the Winchester Fair Racing. That'll have the Wheeling Tour there along with the Nestra Modifieds and the regular Nestra divisions, and I think they've added a couple others to that program as well. So it'll be a busy afternoon, and I think it starts a little early, as I'm sure on the 9th. It starts about 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and if you want your fix next Saturday and Sunday, the Lee USA Speedway and the New Hampshire Center of Speed presents 2 days of racing. The first day will feature the New England Dwarf Car Series and a multiple of other events, the Ridge Runners and the O'Reilly 6-shooters. And then day number 2 will bring the Granite State Pro Stocks to the house. The New Hampshire Center of Speed and the Rodfather Pro Stocks will also be there as well. And I'll tell you, if you haven't been there in a long time, we'd invite you to join us. It is going to be one amazing show.
Well, we've had an interesting show here as well in the modifieds. Always great to see some different approaches to it. It looks like they're going to have to put Aaron's car on the rollback, which means there's some issues that they don't want to have to hook onto. Send the mods around to the bottom there. As Speedway Safety Services takes the emergency services out of the picture. Nix will be there to do a little hauling.
Can't thank the Giard family enough for all that they do at all those speedways. They cover them. They're there, emergency medical personnel and fire, and all, at least the Nestor tracks and many others throughout the New England states. Grant was the founder of the organization, and it's been generationals now that will have taken the helm and done such a great job to keep our racers and the folks here off the racetrack safe.
Another issue over here with Mike Smith. Pulls up by pit road and is in conversation with one of our officials, and I'm sure he's in conversation with the race control here. Greg Smith is our race director today. And that moves the deuce of Tyler Larry into third spot. Adam LaPointe, in his first season of racing, has been able to move up. All right, word is 6 cautions means single file restarts from here on out. And now we've got to get Mike Smith going. He was having a good run, had moved himself into third. Let's see if we can get him fired up and rolling. Or not. Hot day, cars don't behave the same way that they do otherwise. We don't hear any rumble coming, so I guess that's a push all the way into the pits. Clean up time. Right front damage for sure to the 29.
Brian Roby at the point. Joey Jarvis, Tyler Leary, Adam LaPointe, Nate Wenzel, Brian Mooring. Caution is going to remain on the speedway at this point. Fellows will not be rejoining us. Too much damage on the 29.
All right. Looks like there's nothing left to work on except a green flag. It's going to be a single file restart. Get this one done. 6 laps to the finish. They get the word single file. No bumping and thumping. 6 laps for Nate Wenzel to get back to the front and challenge for the lead. He could do it. Everybody else gets in line. Looks good. They move toward the 603 Metalworks and collision zone. Green is out, and off goes Brian Roby. Joey Jarvis and Tyler Leary. Here comes Adam LaPointe. He was thinking about going, but he went in too deep. Here comes Nate Wenzel. Wenzel and LaPointe side by side off of 4. Wenzel into 4th place. LaPointe's not giving up. He's going to try to run him. 5 laps left.
5 circuits remain. Brian Roby. Oh, Brian Mooring crossed the backstretch into the go-kart area. They may not throw the caution if he stays there and out of the racing surface area. We remain green. Brian Roby is your leader. Joey Jarvis, Tyler Leary's in 3rd. Nate Wenzel, and the 51 of Adam LaPointe. That is your top 5. Roby's going to come down this time. Going to see the popsicle sticks. Got 2 laps more. Brian Roby, the professor, the son of P. Soft Shoe, does a great job. Knows how to get around the Claremont Motorsports Park. White flag is out. Got 1 more circuit to go. In 2nd is Joey Jarvis, 2nd generation racer. Here he comes, though. It's the professor taking the checker, Brian Roby. Joey Jarvis, Tyler Leary, Nate Wenzel, Adam LaPointe. That will be your top 5. Brian Mooring at 33. We're going to get ready to go to Victory Lane and see what Brian Roby's got to say about back-to-back victories here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. We'll take it down to Dave Sutherland.
Brian Roby, lap, checkered flag in hand all the way around. A double up for the night and the day races. He'll bring it home. Good enough for that. Miss M has got the water and the photography equipment ready to go as we celebrate another modified win for Brian Roby. One more picture here. The guys from this division bringing the folks at home the successful exit from the car. A lot of equipment to get off, as we've mentioned before you just jump out. It's not the old days where we wore a t-shirt and jumped out with your open face helmet. There he is, winner again tonight, Brian Roby. Wow, we'll just work our way around here on camera. Brian, 2 in a row. That's not a bad way to cap off a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you always come to a doubleheader like this, hoping that you can do that, but rarely does it actually play out that way. And obviously, between last night and tonight, 2 very different races. Last night was a lot cooler, out of the sun and everything, and today was very hot and humid and right in the bright sun. So I knew the car would do something. I wasn't sure what it would do. It certainly tightened up, but I knew everybody was going to be in the same boat. Everybody was sliding around out there. That was probably more of an adventurous race than any of us wanted, but all in all, I were fortunate to keep tires on it. We had early contact, spun, go to the back, come back up through, made contact. I actually ended up shutting the car off when I was passing Wenzel there. That's why I got jammed up with him. Got it refired, get going again, and just made our way back to the front. Had a great battle there with Aaron on the outside. He was running me hard, but that's normal for us. And I think it must have put on a pretty good show there for a few laps, anyways. But unfortunately, I see he ended up over here. But I just, like I said last night, got to thank all these guys that help me, week to week, all the sponsors that help us out with the car, track for having us, and the fans for coming out.
Well, you had a good run. It looked like you were the only one who could really get the car to stick on the outside.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it was sticking, but everybody, like I said, everybody's in the same boat. We were all sliding around out there, so you really had to kind of wait on it to turn in the center, and then you had to be easy on it coming off. There just wasn't a lot of grip with how hot it is right now. So, it just kind of got to try to predict what's going to happen, what the car's going to do, and try to adjust to it. And fortunately, we were able to do it.
Got it done. Victory lane again for Brian Roby. Joey, come on down. We'll come on up. We'll meet you halfway. For a guy who doesn't race every single week, you did pretty well today. Had luck on your side?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not really sure what these guys are doing out here in a field of 9 cars, just piling them up, but they can race how they want to race. Super happy to have Brian, somebody good to race with. He's helped us out a lot. I got to thank the Martin family, my whole crew, all of our sponsors. Happy to be here, and thanks all the fans for coming.
Great run for Joey Jarvis. Nice to see him back here on the podium. Good run in the McGee Automotive Race Team machine.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, Tyler Leary. Kind of an up and down day for you out there.
Oh my God, that was absolutely epic. We were on 0 tires today, coming out here to have some fun. Brian Barnard and I kept throwing changes at it, one this morning, one this afternoon, and it's awesome that it paid off. The car felt great. I felt like for having no tires on, I was hanging pretty tough with these guys, so got to give it to my dad and Brian. They stuck it out all weekend here. Thanks to the fans at Claremont Motorsports Park, everyone, the whole facility, for putting on a great Labor Day weekend race, and just real proud of the Barnard race cars. It's a proud moment to say that car's fully home built, not store bought, and I think I had a little bit of good luck in the pits before the race. I chatted with Carl Fredrickson from Speedway Illustrated, so Carl, if you're listening, I appreciate the good luck, and just happy to be up here on the podium for my first Claremont podium trip.
Podium trip first is always great, whether you're on the top or on the podium at all. Tyler Leary finishing 3rd today here at Claremont Motorsport Park.
Needed EMT to the tower, please. EMS to the tower, please. EMS to the tower.
All right. A little break for some emergency work here. We're ready to go back to action here pretty darn soon.
going to bring out the Brody Ledoux State Farm Outlaws. Starting on the pole is the 16-year-old. That is Thomas Smithers in the 60. To the outside is going to be the 15 for Claremont, New Hampshire's Tyler Lescord. Inside row number 2 is the crafty veteran out of Windsor, Vermont for Stephen Bly in the 10. Looking to do back-to-back wins in the 00. That is Charlestown, New Hampshire's Ben Poland. They nicknamed him the Predator in the 8. That is Guy Karen. To guys outside is going to be the 32. That's a new ride for Travis Cass. Next on the grid is the 5. That is Ryan Bell. The one-man show out of Gardner, Massachusetts in the 15. The 15 MA is John Meany. Another generation. This will be 3 generations of fellows. This is Aaron Fellows Jr. in the 29. The tricky one, they call him. The 18, that is Tricky Dick Lubach. And taking tail on the field into 3 out of Claremont, New Hampshire, that is Max Bergstrom. Bergstrom in the 3. Distance is 25 laps for our Brody Ledoux State Farm Outlaws. Currently, Guy Karen, Ben Poland, Steve Bly, Tyler Lescord, and the judge Joe Brown. That's the way your points battle shakes up right now. Poland looking to do back-to-back wins. The young gun on the point, and Thomas Smithers, the veteran, in Tyler Lescord on the outside. They make their way down the backstretch towards the 603 Metalworks collision start zone. Green flag is going to fly. Oh, Lescord around. Contact between Smithers, Lescord, Guy Karen.
And a fair part of Guy Karen's car beating him into turn 1. I believe that's one of their crash bars. Smithers able to get away. Lescord may not have
doing a job on the lawn,
unscathed.
Dave. I think they were trying to do a little lawn mowing at that point just to get some escape routes.
Lawn looks good. Well, it's hot, and as you heard Brian Roby say in Victory Lane, it's a little on the slick side. He didn't say that exactly, but that's exactly what he meant. You're not getting stick. You're putting a lot of rubber on the track. The track temperature is well above our 85 or 88 degrees we have here in Claremont right now. So track temperature might be 112, 120. That's not a kind thing for race tires, especially with the modifieds and the Outlaws, because they're running a slick or a slicker tire than the other divisions. And slick doesn't stick when it's hot.
Like a knife through butter, for sure. That was a good one, David. Very impressive. You're pretty witty for being 3 days in a row so far now.
Don't talk to me tomorrow.
Maybe you'll be asleep in the ride home, but...
Yeah. So Aaron Fellows Jr. rolling back down out of the pits.
So if Dad is Superman, does that make Aaron Fellows Jr. Batman? Marvel Comics.
There was a series that was Superboy.
Oh, true.
There you go. There you go. Younger set years ago. I think it turned into a TV Saturday morning cartoon program too, a few generations back. I'm sure if you go to Cartoon Network or someplace like that, you'll find all the old shows that
someone will have
used to watch.
Some will have the stats. Somebody will have them. Race control trying to reset the lineup, get everybody back in the spot, giving time for those involved to get some work done, to get back out here. Guy Karen is your points leader coming into today. Gonna see what takes place. Don't know how bad he was hit, although the Toyota Tundra pace truck had to pick up some of his crash bar, as David said, in turn number 2.
Problem being, if you have your crash bars ripped off, it may well be there's something done to that part of the car as well, and it's not right. Whether it's a tire, a bent front end, or a slightly twisted rear part, the car doesn't run right. One of the guys we talked to from yesterday's race, turns out he, in fact, had run the race with broken motor mounts and a whole lot of other problems. Right now, it looks like no one's coming back. They're coming up to get themselves lined up and ready to cut loose here, Randy.
There we go. The McGee Toyota of Claremont pace car will drop off. We hit the 603 collision. Metal works. Restart zone. Bly. Oh, got to take a quick jump off. Green is going to fly. Will it stay? Steve Bly in the 10. 3 wide on the back stretch. Smithers in the sandwich. Ben Poland takes over the second spot. Travis Cass in the 32. Got a brand new ride, but here comes a one-man gang in John Meany. Working to the outside. Got Withers on the inside. Smithers on the inside. Smithers may have some damage on the 60. It doesn't look like it's quite turning like it was. But can Ben Poland hunt down the 10 of Steve Bly? Steve Bly had a great podium finish last evening here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. Meany now challenging for third. He'll take the 15 down low and get under Travis Cass. John Meany. A lot of history wheeling behind that car. Poland looks closer to Bly now. Going to try to challenge for the lead. Poland goes to the low side. Bly gives him room. They're side by side. That was just courtesy at its best. Bly, Poland, Bly to the outside, Poland on the inside. The top spot goes to Ben Poland. Poland working the wheel on the 00. Poland gets out to the front. Steve Bly is in second. John Meany, longtime veteran. The Meany family bet so much to this and many other racetracks for many years. John out of Gardner would love to at least keep the podium spot. Coming up on lap traffic of Bergstrom now is your leader, Ben Poland. Poland looking to set sail to his own zip code like George talked about in the heat. Ben Poland, his dad, his uncle, they're a 3-man family show. Stephen Bly in the 10. Ryan Bell to the back bumper in the 5 of the 32. Travis Cass trying to take over to the 4th spot. We've got 10 done. 25 laps is the distance. Ben Poland looking to go back-to-back with victories here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. Still working the back bumper of Travis Cass is the 5 of Ryan Bell. The challenge is for 4th. He looks for the outside. Cass in the new 32 ride of his. A sharp-looking Outlaw. Brody Ledoux, Outlaw. But it's been all Ben Poland since Poland was out to get into the front. He got there, wants to stay there. That's his plan. Getting around Aaron Fellows Jr. in the 29 New Hampshire. Poland now has a 5-car lead over Steve Bly. Bly trying to reel him in. Not sure he's going to have enough time to get that job done. Still battling for fourth is the 32 of Travis Cass, along with the 5 of Ryan Bell, the Rocket, looking to take that spot over. Around out of turn number 2. Oh, we all get away. Caution is out on the speedway on lap 16. Aaron Fellows Jr. spins coming out of turn 2. Kenny Howe and the folks at A-Plus Towing are going to try to go out there, see if he needs an assistance to get around. The 29 seems to be moving under his own power. Dad's had a lot of success in that car. He'd like to be just as successful. Grandpa was the famous Alan Fellows, multi-event winner here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. Aaron able to refire the 29 New Hampshire. All right, 16 is what we've got down. 25 is the distance. Brian Martin's got the double up flags, yellow and green in hand. Ben Poland will be on the inside. Steve Bly to his outside. John Meaning will line up behind Poland in the 3rd spot. Travis Cass going to be in the 4th spot. Ryan Bell, Thomas Smithers, Dick Lamoth, Bergstrom, and Fellows. They're working their way down the backstretch. They'll approach turn number 3 into the 603 Metalworks and collision restart zone. We're back under green. Poland gets right back to where he started from. John Meany working the inside groove. Poland, Bly, Meany, Cass, Bell. Cass gets a little loose coming across the stripe that time. Ben Poland. Clicking off the laps. Ben Poland, your leader, working off the front stretch. And Dick Lamoss around in the 18 out of turn number 2. Lamoth in the 18 trying to get it refired. We're going to stay under green for the time being. Yellow's going to fly just as Lamoth is able to get it, the 18 to refire. That will restack him. Probably not what Ben Poland wanted. He doesn't have the cool suit. He'd probably love to jump out of the fired suit as quick as he can. Ben Poland had a commanding lead over Steve Bly and John Meaning. Steve Bly jumps right back up. They get doubled up. We're going right back racing. Leo Martin's going to dive. The Claremont Motorsports Park, McGee Family Racing sponsored. Toyota to the pits. We're in the zone. They're out of the zone. Green is out. Poland still working the wheel down low. Meany now looks to get under the tandem blind. Not going to do it that time. Gonna have 5 to go this time by.
Poland leading him off the turn to complete lap 21. Poland and Bly's part of the show and field last night. The only one missing is Aaron Fellows. He's out. Ben Poland going to get a double for the weekend if everything holds together. They're having a little more trouble getting off of turn 2. It's pretty slick down in there. 22 in the books, 3 to go. Poland with Bly following, and John Meany hanging in there in 3rd. Trevor Klass and the 5 of Max Bergstrom, all looking for a top 5 finish. All they got to do is hold on. 2 to go. White flag coming up. Here comes Poland for the white one. Then Bly. John Meany not using the car up. He's not going to catch the leaders. Just wants to keep Travis Cass behind him. Checkered flag is waiting for your winner. Ben Poland picks up the victory. Stephen Bly goes second. John Meany on the podium in the 15. Then Travis Cass and the 5 of Max Bergstrom. Smithers, Fellows, and Lamont round out the field. And finally, Jeff Murray in the 3 and 8. So that rounds out that field. A victory lap coming up here for Ben Poland soon as Brian Martin gets the treasured checkered flag down to them as a NASCAR winner here at Claremont Motorsport Park. And with that, we'll hand it off. After a hot day of racing, a slow cooling down lap. We'll turn things over to Randy down there trackside.
Benny Poland running into victory lane. In Claremont Motorsports Park. Crew is coming out to greet him. You're going to see that thrill it's going to be John and Steve Bly. Those cars. And David, you're right. I don't know how hot it feels to you folks in the stand, but you can feel the heat coming up off the track. It's a little warm. You're right, buddy. I think Miss M's picking on Benny just a little. Checkered flag, go to the roof, water in hand. He'll hydrate really well. Coming up and out, give him a big round of applause, Ben Poland. Come around this side, my young man. We talked earlier in the pit area. I said, can you go back to back? He says, I'm sure looking forward to it, but Ben, you put it in victory lane. This has got to feel good for you and your team.
Yeah, it's awesome to go 2 for 2 for this weekend. It's a bummer that Guy wasn't up here battling for the win with us. It's a real bummer to see him taken out on a racing deal that early on in the race. But nonetheless, we had a fun weekend.
A fun weekend had by all. Who helped you get it here?
First and foremost, my dad and my uncle. Without those 2 guys, we certainly wouldn't be here. After that, I got to thank Rich and Rich up to RSP Chassis. Those guys do immaculate work. If you ever need a fast race car, go give them a call. I got to thank Jimmy Zullo over at Zullo Fab, and anybody who I'm forgetting at the moment.
We won't let you forget anybody. Ben Poland, victory number 2 this weekend. See if we can run over here and grab the young fella. Buddy, a lot of times wheeling here at the Claremont Motorsports Park, you look like you had him for a little bit and then the car just maybe settled in and he just took off like a rocket for you.
Actually, the car was better. Handling-wise, we don't have enough steam. They got a little bit more power than I do, and that's pretty much the difference. We're rolling through the corners pretty well, but hats off to them. They got the complete package, and that's what it takes to win. So
something tells me that even the complete package, you look good. You look like that car was rolling. If you'd have had a couple of more, or he just a little tightened up, you would have had him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He probably was backing off. If I know Ben, getting somebody in your ear, telling you what's going on, how far back they are. We'll keep plugging away. We got some ideas and move forward.
Who helped you get it here, buddy?
First and foremost, Eric Martell. He's the car owner. He puts all the blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. Andrew Teffner, my Aunt Fran, my wife who supports me and my family. Pollution. Andrew Teffner, property maintenance, Lebanon Screw Products, Adorn, Moraway Auto. I have the Pot Shop, JB Electric, Marsh Brothers Deli, and Travis Doobie Painting.
Great job, Stephen Bly in for second. And young man, I haven't seen you in a long time. We talked at Monadnock Speedway a couple of years ago. You were there with your brother. Yep. And John Meany, folks, is your third place finisher. I'll tell you what, buddy, you just kept wheeling. You just kept coming. It's got to feel good.
You just got to hang on. That's all you got to do.
Hanging on. Other than you got some sponsors that help you get here?
Dennis Stange Racing helped me a boatload with parts and Brookside Equipment. And my brother Phil's not here with us today, but Bill and David are both here and giving me a hand. Keep this thing going.
Keeping it going, the Meany family are racing. John Meany in for third. Oh, Nicole looks like she's got some cash for Benny to hand away. Ben, can we steal you for a little duty for a minute? Oh, Mr. John Meany. Let's see if we can make somebody a little happier money-wise. 201 is for
278-2344. 278-2344.
Great job. Somebody's we're getting ready to go. Ari Hinckley, late model racing.
All right. The Ari Hinckley late models are waiting in the pits. Last night it was a 70-lap event. Could have been a disaster, but they went 70 out of 73 laps without a caution. One caution. They lined it up and went to the green. It was a pretty good race when all things were considered. And the nice thing is that Joe Tatro in the memorial race for Richard Tatro wound up in third place in that event. Not the winner, but a good run for him. Chris Riendo picked up the win, and David Greenslet the second spot. They're both back. All three are back to go at it again today in a 35-lap late model feature event. So if they can go 70, let's see what they can do with 35. That should be a real quickie and get you back to the patio or the deck and enjoy the rest of the day. Well, let's see if they're going to have to give Ben a little push to get him off the track here. Nope. Just get it fired up and get him going. Congratulations to our winner, whoever you are. Somebody in the pits won it, huh? Well, that's the way it goes. A little bit of speedy drive right here at the end of the race. We've got to clean things up. That's not going to impact the racing groove very much. That's the good news. And here they come. Led by the McGee Toyota pace car in the 79, Trevor Rock. Out of Enfield, New Hampshire, sits on the pole. Andrew Brusso from Claremont sits on the outside of the front row. Row number 2, you'll find the 35 of Chris Lindquist. That's the 35 of Lindquist out of Croydon, New Hampshire. Next on the grid will be the 4 Vermont, Chris Riendo from Ascutney. Chris, winner last night, gets an early starting position. Starting in the 5th spot in the 57, his own car today from Billerica, Massachusetts, Justin Beecher. Beecher will be flanked by the 91 of Robert Hagar from Windsor, Vermont. Row 4, starting inside position 7, David Greenslit from Claremont, and Brian Roby back in another car. You got it. He's looking for a second win today out of Sunapee, New Hampshire. Starting in the inside of row 5, 9th starter Travis Sykes from Heartland, Vermont, with J.D. Stockwell out of Berniston, Massachusetts, starting in the 10th spot. 11th starter in the 48, Daniel Young from Claremont, New Hampshire. David Thibodeau from Heartland, Vermont, goes in the 88. He will be your 12th starter. Starting 13th, Matt Sonhalter from White River Junction, Vermont. Next to him in the 73, Joe Tatro from Enfield, New Hampshire. 15th starter, the 11 New Hampshire for Ryan Bell out of Ackworth, New Hampshire, and Jimmy Zulo next to him in the 16C out of Claremont. And rounding out your field today in the 19th starting position will be the 19 for Jim Carley from Newport, New Hampshire. Good field of cars. We had a healthy field again last night. These street stockers are loving it. Let's see how they manage a hot day. Did I say street stocks? Well, street stocks, now known as late models, or formerly known as street stocks, now late models. It'll take 2 more seasons to get those names straight. But looking good. Russo had a good run most of the night last night. He was right there in the top 3 fighting for a position. The car kind of went away from toward the end and allowed the other cars to move up. Riendo basically fought with him for several laps before being able to get by and take over the lead and led the rest of the race through 1 restart in 73 laps. I'm going to keep emphasizing that just in case we see how this one goes. And it looks like our pole sitter, Trevor Rock is having a little trouble over there. There's something coming loose on the back of the car. They're missing his the pins that hold the tail down where they put the gas in. Just hang in there and let the guys catch up to you. Or is he going to choose to drop back? I guess he does. So that'll put Andrew Brasso on the pole. Lindquist on the outside. Riendo 3rd. 4th for Beecher. One more pace lap at least. Maybe 2. Nope, that's it. 1 more. Got to get themselves all squared away. 35 laps. The R.E. Hinckley late model division. The pace car pulls up. They set their sights on the 603 Metalworks and Collision starting zone. They hit the zone, they hit the green, and they hit the gas. Here they go. Into the corner, off of turn 2. Brasso, Lindquist, Riendo, Hagar. On the outside, Beecher. 1 lap, can they hold on all the way through? It'll be Brasso, Riendo, Hager fighting with Lindquist. Beecher sits in 5th. Roby is 6th. 7th is Greenslit. Not as long a run, but those guys that run up front all the time will pace themselves and save the car. Hagar anxious to get into the top 3, leaning on the 35 coming off of 2. Out of the back of the pack, there's a little competition going on there. Lindquist now gets shuffled to the outside. That opens up the inside groove in 2, and that's what they need. Hagar into 3. Riendo looks inside. Little tap and go down the backstretch, and Riendo will take the lead on lap 4. Riendo, Brusso, Hagar, Beecher, and Lindquist wait on. Here comes Roby. Oh, Beecher got a little squirrely there. Riendo, Brusso, Hagar, Beecher, Roby, Greenslit, Lindquist, J.D. Stockwell coming up to join him, having a better run than he did last night so far. Riendo, Brusso, Hagar, Beecher, Roby, and Greenslit, Lindquist and Stockwell, Sykes, Tatro, Bly, Sonhalter, Rock, and Thibodeau, and the rest of the field trying to chase them down. Leaders off at turn 2. Riendo now starting to open his lead up. He's got about a 3-car advantage. Then it's Hagar in second. He got by the 81. Beecher's going to try to do the same down the backstretch. Can Justin Beecher dive in? He gets down in there. Coming off of turn 4, Beecher's got third. Brusso sitting on the outside. Here comes Roby. Turns up the wick a little bit, closes down going into the corner. Greenslit's right there with him. Ten laps in the books, 25 to go.
Chris Riendo looking to go back-to-back. The Weasel in the 4. Robert Hagar in the 91 would love to be his spoiler. Justin Beecher in the 57, his own car. He was piloting Robbie Streeter's 55 last night, but this car, no matter where it's run, where he's running, has been super fast. Andrew Baruso doing a great job in the 81. Brian Roby in only a car that he's only been in a few times. And here comes the reigning champ in the 20, David Greenslet.
The field running by the slower car of that number 40. 48, let's make that mistake. 48 of Daniel Young getting lapped by your leaders. Riendo now stretching it out to about a half a straightaway on Hagar with Beecher. Then the 81 of Brusso, Roby, and Greenslit. If there's no cautions, they're really going to have to turn the wick up here. We're coming up to lap 15. That gives us another 20 to go. But they did this last night for 70 laps. Brian Roby said, I wasn't sure we'd ever stop. He was ready for a rest. And he wasn't even in the hunt for the lead. You're going to have Thibodeau and Zulo looking in the mirrors in a minute. If they don't have mirrors, they'll be hearing the Riendo machine come up on them pretty darn soon. Here he comes. Hagar having a good time. We are halfway finally. Now Zulo goes underneath Thibodeau as they do a little dust biting. Riendo, Hagar, and Beecher. Brusso, Roby, and Greenslit, your top 6. Back to Lundqvist in 7. 8th right now is Stockwell. 9th, Tatro, and 10th is the 33 of Sonhalter.
It's been Chris Riendo out to the front in the 4. The Brooks Automotive Repair 4 of Chris Riendo, the Lightning Chassis Hot Rod. He's definitely proven that that is the car to beat here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. Robert Hagar, the Cabana Boy, Justin Beecher in the 57, Andrew Baruso, Brian Roby, Greenslit in the 20, Chris Lindquist, J.D. Stockwell, Joe Tatro, Matt Sonhalter. Leaders coming up to heavy lap traffic. They get around the 88 of Thibodeau. Coming up on the 16Z of Jimmy Zulu. Jimmy Zulu. Battle going on there between the 41 of Sykes and the 11 of Bell, and Trevor Rock's involved as well.
And closing in on them are the leader. 3 cars fighting position, and the leader coming up on him. He's going to have to fight his way through that. Beecher still trails Hagar, but Brian Roby got by the 81 of Brusso, and he took David Greenslet with him. They've moved into the 4th and 5th positions here in this event. Your leader gets around one of the lap cars of Young. He's going to close up on Zulo in a minute. Hagar has to work his way through lap traffic. Beecher's right there on his bumper. Beecher saving a car, probably wants to move into second before we're done with this. 5 to go, look out. The 79 and the 11, and that will bring out the first caution of the event. 10 laps left in the race. And
battle that was ensuing between the 11 and the 41 ends up with Trevor Rock involved as well in the 79. Those two guys, Scave took off. Rock was left mowing the grass on the infield.
This creates an interesting development because before that caution, Riendo had a pretty substantial lead on Hagar in the 91. Beecher was testing Hagar to try to find a way underneath. He will be starting on the inside of row 2 on the restart, and that's going to put David Greenslet and Brian Roby in positions 4 and 5, and they have been working their way slowly, finally got around Andrew Brosso, and now they are in the mix for a top 5 for sure, possibly a top 3 finish, depending upon how the final 10 laps, really 11 laps, shake out here when we go back to green.
The start is definitely going to be Riendo's win or see. It's going to be able to see whether Riendo fires off out of that hole quickly and get away from Hagar, but he'll take Beecher right with him. Beecher's no one that will be changed and won't be able to just jump on the throttle of the 57 and run right out there with Riendo. You got some crafty veterans in Brian Roby and David Greenslet right there with him. David, you hit it nail on the head, spot on. These guys all want to win. They don't come out here to finish 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 12th. They come out here to win it.
All right, well, we're going to see what they're going to do because they've got the double up sign. Lap 24 in the books, 25 for the restart, 10 to go when they come across the stripe. And here's how it lines up, just in case you missed it. On the inside, on the pole, that's Riendo. Hagar on the outside in the 91. The 57 is Justin Beecher. Outside of him, it'll be the 85 of Brian Roby. Here they come, working toward the 603 zone. Here they come, starting to get on the gas now. Green is out, here we go. Hagar pinched up against the wall, doesn't give any ground, but Beecher dives low. Hagar trying to go to the outside. Beecher works up the inside, puts the pedal down, dives in hard to the back bumper of Riendo. Greenslet goes with him. Roby's got to swap lanes if he's going to move up. He'll drop to the inside of Hagar. Hagar gets caught on the outside and gets shuffled back in the field. Less than 10. Riendo, Beecher, Hagar. Here comes Roby charging down in there now. They knock off lap 26. Riendo getting pressure from Beecher now. Beecher's not going to give it up. Beecher's going for trouble in turn 2. Around goes the 41 of Sykes. He's driving the car down off the corner, and there's no caution. As the leaders come by, Sykes got it up against the light pole there. He's going to back it up out of the way when he sees it's clear. And it is. Backs onto the racetrack and drives away. Meanwhile, Beecher's challenging Riendo, and there's a lapped car ahead of him. Thibodeau slowing down, waving him off. Holy mackerel. And as he goes, he doesn't go up pit road. Beecher takes over the lead with 7 laps left. Justin Beecher, Chris Riendo. Beecher sweeps up, Riendo's right back. Riendo, Beecher, Greenslit, Roby, Hagar. And the 41 is all over the racetrack. I mean, he's either throwing fluid or he's got a tire down. He gets way up out of the way. The leaders go by. Hagar gets by Roby because of that. Oh, man, here we go.
Chris Riendo fighting hard, takes the lead back. Justin Beecher looking to take it away. David Greenslit would love to be the victor. He is the current points leader. Hagar seems to have faded some. Brian Roby still right there in the 5th position. Got 3 more laps. Gonna have 2 to go this time by. Brian Martin's got the popsicle sticks in hand. Riendo dives to the inside. Beecher locked to his rear bumper. Gonna escape down the backstretch. Chris Riendo. Justin Beecher. Beecher trying to find the line to get around. One more circuit here at the Claremont Motorsports Park. Chris Riendo looking to go back to back. Chris Riendo, nicknamed the Weasel, is going to be your victor today. Justin Beecher, David Greenslit, Robert Hagar, Brian Roby, the 81 of Andrew Brousseau, Joe Tatro, Matt Sunhalter, the 35 of Chris Lindquist, the 45 of J.D. Stockwell, the 16Z of Jimmy Zulu, the 79 Trevor Rock, the 11 of Ryan Bell. I told you he brought multiple cars here. And the 48 of Daniel Young will round out your field. We're going to work our way down to victory lane, see what Chris Riendo has to say.
All right, little smoke pouring off the back of the car. Not exactly a cool night of racing. Chris Riendo doubles up for the weekend. Had a little bit of a scare there in the last 5 or 6 laps. A conversation with Justin Beecher. David Greenslit's rolling out. A quick discussion of the end of the race. Here he comes, your winner 2 nights in a row, Chris Riendo. Well, first question, which is cooler, racing in New Hampshire when it's 88 degrees out or racing down in the south?
Probably both of them. I mean, you both got the heat, but today's probably matches our trip down to Orange County. We'll be headed down there in 2 weeks. I got to thank all the crew for coming out both weeks, today, tomorrow, yesterday. My kids for supporting me going racing. If it ain't for them, I wouldn't be here. I got to thank Turn 4 Podcast, Fireside Beverage, Brooks Automotive, Fraser's Place, Bush's Generator, Lightning Chassis, Emerson Roofing, Andy Speed Shop, and all the fans that came out.
All right, man side, that's a long race to race on a hot day. Somewhere over here is Justin Beecher. There he is, getting his picture taken. Come on over, Justin. Don't get to see you too much here on the west coast of New Hampshire, but came out with your own car tonight, and it ran pretty well for you.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Car was really just loose at the beginning of the race. I cranked some front brake into it, and then on that last restart, the car came alive and was really good. I think I got into something once I took the lead up on the top. I don't know if the 88 blew a rear end or what happened, but it just unloaded me out there. Weasel got the lead again, and I tried to get back to him, but there wasn't too much I could do. So, car was really good all day. Can't complain. I got to thank everyone that helps out. George Baldwin, my father, Danny Massa, my sponsors, Pools, Ends Renovations, Dempsey's Roofing, Morton's Buildings, D&L Auto, and everyone else that helps out. Oh, and thank you very much to Robbie Streeter for letting me run his car yesterday.
All right, there you go. Whoop, 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 whoop. I didn't get sucked into that like I did Saturday night. Dave Greenslet, a little more work getting through things in the middle.
Yeah, it was a little bit of work to get up through there. It's hot and slick and sliding around, and ended up third, and can't complain there. Just chasing championship here at this point. Wins don't matter nothing to me. It's just championship. So I got to thank Vermont Custom Cabinetry, LFOD Motorsports, Original Wheelman, Harpoon UFO, Rocky Branch, who isn't here again with us tonight. I know I'm missing a bunch of them, but hey, it's hot. I'm done.
Good excuse. Congratulations, David Greenslet, third finisher here tonight at Claremont Motorsport Park. We'll see you all back here on the 22nd for the next night of racing.